We live.
Every person who just did that, minus 15 nobility. You might as well not even compete and shit. I ain't fuck with y'all boys. Cause what's going on, ladies and gentlemen?
Yo ho
We're
ho.
out here with the One Piece Draft official round 2, match 1. Today we got some strong ass bangers, some new guys that we haven't seen at all, but they should have some fire with them. And then we got One Punch Game back again in the Monster Trio. If the two captains will go ahead and announce themselves, they plug the channels in, plug everything in, and then let their teammates come through as well. What's up, guys?
Ali, you can go first.
All right, this is the team captain of the Monster Trio. Zach choked last week. We not choking. We up against the L gang. Trying to go for that 9-0 sweep.
Red Nose, you're gross.
On our team, we got Kisei. It's not even gonna be close.
You're just a gross man.
What's good, bitches? It's your boy Motion.
What
Follow me
bitches?
Yo, what the fuck is that?
Who the hell was that?
I don't know
This
what
guy got watching Fairy Tale in the background. All right.
I don't know what the credit list is saying about talking about a 9-0 sweep. You need to tighten up with that. You're not sweeping nobody on here. You're not sweeping me on here. My team is renew, refresh, and recycle, motherfucker. So we about to body.
Your team left you because he was ass.
Captain, Mr. Bun. Calm down.
With this week, we're starting off new questions. This should be pretty good. And what these teammates and what their crews can do, it should be nice. If both of the team captains will restate what characters they have in their teams before we actually start.
We have Big Mom, Caesar, Jinbei, Shirahoshi, and Buggy.
And Roger.
All right, we got Aokiji, Kid, Sanji, Perona, and Sengoku.
All
So
right.
garbage, and garbage. We got it.
All right. If the two captains will meet me for the people to do the first official roll of the match
Out of what?
Make it good.
at a 3.
How the fuck do I do that again?
What the fuck is up with these niggas, bro?
Yo, post it. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Didn't I tell you he was creditless buns?
Yo, really
Ooh.
Here we go again.
And we both got 3. Roll again.
Gravito Moco.
Don't you?
Yo, I swear Grimm is like controlling this dice or something, man.
Hey, come on, guys. Go ahead and roll.
You definitely just got a 1, my nigga. What are you
Oh,
talking
that's
about?
right. Yeah. Actually, yeah. You got a 1 and he got a 3. So,
He got a
Ali.
1. I got a 1. He got a 3. I got a 3. And I hit
No.
2.
No,
That's not what occurred. So we're moving forward. Ali, since your team is going first, your question is:
Yeah.
God damn, nigga.
Hello?
relax, nigga. Damn, I can't look for the question.
Oh, okay. I thought you backed out or some shit. I thought I backed out.
You had a stroke.
I just thought someone of my caliber would have this stuff already set.
Dog,
Oh, is that
what
funny?
you expect from the Reptile King, bro? Like, what the fuck?
All right.
Hey, bro,
Well, the only
maybe
thing you guys should expect is which character has the best introduction. The two captains will please pick their characters with their teams, and then we're going to start off with Ali doing your 4-minute
Please
intro.
restate the question.
Can you listen, please, you fuck?
Character with the best intro.
Oh, okay.
God damn it!
What's up, Ali?
Shelly, go hit a blunt.
So
dog.
How long we got to decide?
Yeah, how long we got to decide?
A minute.
All right.
A minute? All right, bet.
Can we talk out
Shelly,
loud?
Please do.
Fire
Alright.
up one of them.
Yeah,
Well,
we
you're
can
saying-
talk out loud.
I will. God damn it.
Okay.
Will's gonna give me a fucking heart attack.
What you said in the chat, I don't know if we should use that early just in case. 'cause
Yeah,
we're
I
not
know,
gonna be
but
able-
I don't think that there's any other character that we can really use to win this other than that.
Number 2's not bad. They have like just as much screen time.
All right, yeah. Okay. Let's just. All right, yeah. This one.
All right. We're gonna choose Kid.
All right. And Soap.
We choose Buggy.
All right. Ali, you have 4 minutes. Please begin, man.
Yeah. Hey, Fruit, can you? I gotta do something real quick. Can you start?
Yeah. All right. So, Kid's
Thanks.
introduction to the series is like one of the most hype fucking like characters that we've ever seen because literally this is the first time we see any of the supernovas, and he's like one of the only. He's the only supernova of all the supernovas that actually has a higher bounty than Luffy, and we see that he's like this savage dude. And like when we first see him in there with Rayleigh, he's one of the people that doesn't get knocked out by Rayleigh's Conqueror's Haki. And he shows abilities that are on par with Luffy's abilities with his giant fist that he uses when he attracts all the swords and the guns and to make the giant fist that's equal to your third punch. So we know that he's probably around equal to Luffy's power level in that moment. I don't know. Kisa, you want to go?
Oh yeah, let's go ahead. So, I mean, with that, when we first saw Kid, we see he's having a little discussion with Scratchman Apu, and we know that Scratchman Apu has his own pirate crew, and we see that already these two are going at it, and he wants to ask him like, "How about we finish this fight later?" Like, how do you say that to somebody? Like, as if you really got a score to settle with this individual, and he probably is superior over you because you got an ass. And it's like, you know, Kid's like, you know what, fine. I mean, I could destroy you now, but I'm going to let you go. I mean, when we got Kid, right, we have comments from, like, when Luffy first met him, and when he met Law and stuff about how these guys seem to be very unique and very weird. And it's likewise with Eustace Kid, but when they go out, let's say when they leave out of I believe was it Sambodi, right? When they was in the slave house, whatever.
Yeah,
and the
Sambodi,
Marines
yeah.
and everything else was out there. I mean, the dudes. You may say that, oh, Luffy did his thing with his crew and Law did his whole room, but when the cannonball shot at old boy, shot at Kid, he said, you know what, repel. That shit could be sent back. That shit was fire. Like, metal, now, like, anything that Marines have, like artillery-wise, gun-wise, which we know the Marines love with their tune guns, we got a dude that's just saying, here, have it all back. I run this shit. Like, I guess the rest, you got anything, Ali?
Yeah, I was gonna say just like Kid in general. So like it's highly debated that Sabaody is probably one of the best arcs in One Piece as general. And then when you first get introduced to the worst generation, it says like, oh, it reminds you, it's like, oh, Luffy doesn't have the highest bounty, and so you're like kind of wondering who has the highest bounty, and then you see Kid. So Kid is first introduced. He's basically the yin and yang to Luffy. He's like the opposite, you know, because you know at the end of the series he's probably going to be one, if not the last kind of last bosses or like the last, I don't know, of fights. So basically not only are you introducing like a huge character, but he's also got the highest bounty, so you can consider him one of the strongest, if not the strongest of their generation.
Yeah, he was basically introduced as one of the main rivals of Luffy because in that scene with him, Law, and Luffy outside of the whatever and Sabaody when they were fighting the Marines, like they were basically showcasing like these are the three dudes that are going to be like the main players in the entire like for like most of the rest of the series, like Luffy, Law, and Kid. And Kid was like, I don't know, his powers were just crazy. Like along with Law's, like getting like a Magneto level Devil Fruit in the series at that point, and someone who has a higher bounty than Luffy was just like
Right.
one of the most insane.
Let me add on real quick. When Shocky even gave comment, go. Okay, my bad.
All right,
I'll save
let's
it.
go.
I'll save
All right,
it.
guys.
All right, so yeah.
Before you, I just want to say, when we examine Kid's introduction within the story, Grimm's question was who has the best introduction. Kid has the most generic introduction compared to any character in the series. Uh, he doesn't get a lot of exposition when we first meet him. When he does, yeah, there's this. A lot of people imply that he's gonna have some great relevance with Luffy later down the arc when Luffy becomes Pirate King and da 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 da. But all of that is mostly really tied to this introduction. But anyway, Lucy, go ahead.
Yeah, and as for Buggy's amazing introduction, y'all gotta remember when Buggy was introduced, this was early in the series when we didn't see much of other people's devil fruits. So Buggy being introduced as, I believe, the first other devil fruit user Luffy had to fight, we didn't know what he was doing. On his introduction, he's sitting in his throne beside his right and his left hand man, choking a motherfucker, ready to kill this motherfucker, choking him from a distance. We didn't even know what the fuck this motherfucker had at this time. Niggas was like, what is this telekinesis? What is he doing? He has a motherfucker floating in the air. He's holding this motherfucker up with one hand while he's sitting in his throne. And it's a chubby motherfucker too. It ain't no skinny nigga. And mind you know his power. His power is the chop chop fruit. Now that we know that, he's just using wrist strength to hold up that fat motherfucker on this nigga's introduction. And mind you, after that, he goes on to put in Luffy in a cage, stabbing the fuck out of Zoro, making him almost bleed to fall asleep inside a fucking house by himself. And he starts letting off muggy balls that literally destroyed, almost turned the city to ruins. Had Luffy and Co. not did their best to stop him.
Let me hop in here real quick, Lucid. Not only that, Buggy in his introduction had a whole town, had a whole island seemingly, or village, whatever you want to call it, under his control by the time we meet him. The town that he inhabits, the villagers are so afraid of him that they leave. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that this is the introduction to One Piece, this is the foundation for what we see later on for characters like, I don't know, Eustace Kid. So the fact that Buggy was this building block, this stepping stone to bring forth characters that the other team is seemingly talking about, like, I think is a lot more important to Buggy's introduction, because it showed us within the story that the world of One Piece is expansive, that the fights are unique, that the character designs are unique, situations that our main characters are going to engage in are not all the same. That we will face characters whose powers seemingly go against what Luffy can do, and I think that was interesting to see very early on in the story that Eustace Kid did not bring on within his introduction. Will, you got anything to add?
Also, let's keep in mind they referred to Kid as a savage because he killed people. That's why his bounty was higher. Buggy was doing this and more, man. He was not only killing people, but he basically had this town under wraps. And no, you can go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, just real quick. Not even that. Like, we also know with Buggy's introduction, from his introduction, he already had a tie to the main character through Shanks. You know what I'm saying? It obviously got expanded on more as the story went on, went further along. But that alone, like the fact that we were facing a pirate that had connection to somebody that we seemingly thought we would never see again, since it was so beginning in the story, again, it adds weight to his introduction. And it showed us how large the story of One Piece could become, and obviously how large it did become.
And not to mention from the get.
Good job, guys. Now we're moving on to the debate portion. This is a 15-minute portion. Ali, because your side led the way. Hans, your side is leading the way now. Please begin.
You guys brought up a lot of. My problem with your argument, guys, is that when you talk about Kid, you talk about a lot of assumptions, and you talk about things that really doesn't separate his introduction from most supernovas and most characters that we meet. What really makes Kid the quote-unquote best introduction? We're not talking about hype here. We're talking about what from his introduction makes it great, because you haven't really exemplified that. You talked about the parallel that we see with him and Luffy and Law, but that we really even haven't gotten an answer on that. That is more hype.
Yeah, let me get this. Mm-hmm. He definitely stood out between all the supernovas, right? He has one of the best character designs, and he was identified as one of the main three characters with Law and Luffy, and he had a higher bounty than Luffy. He was definitely the one character that stood out over all of the other supernovas. You can't deny that.
I mean, but again, that's not regarding his introduction. What makes his introduction so great? You're going into his hype. The fact that his bounty is higher than his. We know why his bounty was higher than his, because he was doing more reckless shit than Luffy. Yeah, I'll give it to you. That shit is hyper than a motherfucker. Kid is that nigga. He was doing reckless shit throughout the Grand Line. But does that make his introduction great? Does that make his introduction outstanding? When we think of Kid, do we think about how he's introduced? Most people would say no.
Okay, but
I'm
right.
not sure. You guys,
Wait,
Stop, Lucid. Stop.
The thing is that what I don't get is that when Buggy was first shown, he's just intimidating some fat thief who he thought was making fun of his nose. Let me see if I'm interested in a character that they're making a joke out of him from the get-go. I don't know about you, but that makes me feel like the introduction isn't that great. When you can compare kids.
This is a brand new series when Buggy was introduced.
Stop.
He was just
right.
Finish
I was just gonna say where Kid, he's actually having an engagement about a fight with another supernova. Where we want to say, well, oh shit, these guys seem interesting, not only from how they look, but these guys were about to settle a fight. Buggy's busy. Go ahead.
Respond.
That was pretty funny headcanon, by the way. He wasn't fighting over someone making fun of his nose. He was actually fighting because someone stole his treasure maps. But nice try.
Okay, can I respond to that?
Good headcanon, though. I like it.
The problem is that you saying that hype doesn't matter in this question, but the question is which character had the best introduction, so we can tackle that from any way we want. And you guys are in a complete losing battle because you tried to tackle it from the hype position as well. When Lucid uses the term, "Oh, he picked up a fat dude. What grip strength?" Like, come on, bro. That was the
Okay, but you gotta understand what Lucid is trying to say. From the point where the story was at in that moment, we had not seen anything like that. We didn't even understand that. We didn't even see other devil fruit users until we met Buggy. We knew they existed, but we didn't really understand the different natures and the different classes that we saw that we see in the world right now. So Buggy is a precursor to the bullshit that you're talking about with Eustace Kid right now.
It's not bullshit. When you have somebody like Buggy, where you say it's a thief, right? How are you so good at being a best introduction when somebody clearly stole from you? Huh?
He was introduced as a character that had his own, that had control of his own land. He was the first pirate that we saw that had some sort of relative power on some sort of land.
You could argue that he was the first pirate we saw with power, but you can't even argue the fact that he was the strongest character up until then.
Stop. Listen, this portion right now is for somebody to finish a statement and then respond. Do not pause if you're going to keep talking, and do not interrupt people.
Yeah, chill out.
And do not ramble on. Please continue now.
Is it me?
I think it was on Moshi.
Go ahead, so.
Yeah, it was Moshi.
Yeah, look.
It wasn't so. Nah, it wasn't you. It was bruh. It was Ali.
Yeah, I was trying to reply to you. You were saying that Buggy was the strongest pirate we had seen up until now, but you can't even argue that he was the strongest person we had seen up till now. When we said up until
that point.
Yeah, I'm saying up until that point. Axe Hand Morgan looked more impressive than Buggy. So what kind of introduction is that?
False.
Okay, well. To my point to you guys, we were actually speaking of their introduction and what happened when these characters were introduced. You guys were just talking about the overall hype in this arc. Not to mention, you guys said he was the most impressive supernova. On his legit introduction, the first appearance we see him, he was about to get his ass beat by Apu. Apu says, "If you want to fight, why don't we? Until we're over the wall." Apu, wait, how about it? Don't you know how strong I am? That's what Apu says to him. He says, "You're the one staring at me. You annoy me. I'll take care of you right now."
And what was
the person you guys say is portrayed as the strongest supernova? He's pretty much fighting. Okay. Yeah, I get the point.
Kisa, you want to take that?
I don't get the point. What point was you making? Because his reply was, "You ugly jerk," and Apu didn't do nothing. He just called him ugly, and then he said, "Maybe I should just get rid of you right now." Could you say that he's playing with him, saying, "I'm gonna let you live. We're gonna have a little bit of like shit for shit, but if I really want to get rid of you, I will do that."
You're talking about a character that didn't even get his. You're talking about a character.
Go ahead.
My fault. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, you're talking about a character. Talking about a character that didn't even get his real own separate introduction. He got introduced with a class of motherfuckers with like all together with him. It was just like, oh, here's this nigga kid, and there's also Law, Rouge, Bonnie, Capone, Drake. The list went on. Like niggas was not focusing on one nigga.
He had introduced in a side-by-side panel.
He got introduced with 10
I'm not
other
done yet.
people.
Buggy had a whole arc dedicated to his introduction and who he was.
You're done.
Kids had that respect through Oda.
You're done.
All right. Yo, so like, yeah, there was
Wait,
11.
we're done with this whole part, I think, right, Grimm?
No,
wait.
keep going. No, keep
Okay.
going.
Yeah. There was 11 supernovas, and out of all of them, this was the one that stood out the most. This is the one that everyone was talking about. This is one of the most like the introduction that got people hyped about Kid. Out of all those people you said, he was the one that stood out the absolute most compared to someone who had a singular introduction in one of the first arcs and was like one of the least hyped characters. He's really just a joke character.
Let me ask you a question. How does he have the best introduction if his introduction wasn't focused on itself? When his introduction other characters.
Because
argue that his was the best series when the author himself did not devote his introduction to him by himself.
Because if you know now what we know before, that was a foreshadow to the alliance that we see now and the betrayal of Apu towards Kid. That was actually a very important plot point to put in the series to even like show like some of the interaction that these guys are going to be having with each other throughout the entire series.
So you're saying Oda intentionally minimized his introduction? Is that what you're saying? That his introduction was not good enough? That he had to lessen his introduction to hype him up later on? Is that what you're saying? Because that's what it sounds like you're saying.
So you want to say that, but take all the contents of how they introduced Kid, right? They showed his name, where he came from, and also his bounty. What is Buggy's bounty? Oh, it's not important enough to show because it's shit.
No,
right?
it was 18 million back then.
It's also low to show off that he's not even most impressive anyway. They showing Kids saying this guy is worth something. Buggy, this clown that's fucking around with some fodder. Yeah, he's really showing he's a really guy that you should mess with in an introduction.
He was there.
Go ahead.
Hey, Kisei, are you finished? Are you finished? Because that was it was really funny and I liked it. But stop with the headcanon, because if you read the arc, it shows Buggy had an 18 million berry bounty back then. Pretty high, actually, considering Luffy didn't have a bounty, or neither did anybody else he was fighting. And back to Froob, who said Kid was shown with relevance and hype. You say Kid is relevant, and you said Buggy was an irrelevant gag character. That irrelevant gag character is what, the 12th most reoccurring character in the series? By final count? Okay.
Doesn't
Okay,
matter.
First off, let me prove you wrong. It wasn't 18 million. Second of all, they didn't even introduce his bounty in his introduction, so you can't even use that. What are you trying to say?
Bro, you guys just said Kid. You guys said the whole Kid, Luffy, Law, side by side. No, wait, stop. I'm going. You stopped, right? You said Kid, Luffy, Law, side by side. That had nothing to do with Kid's introduction. That was the whole arc he was introduced in. I thought that's how we were using this. But if that's how we go, I don't want you guys saying anything past Kid and Apu fighting. That's your introduction. You're done there. My introduction was Buggy choking a fat motherfucker with the strength of his wrist. Okay, unless we're talking about the whole arc.
But his introduction is shit because they didn't even care.
You've been using the whole arc.
His bounty wasn't even important to show. Where they show Kid's bounty, saying how worth he is to bring in. And Buggy is nothing. They didn't even bother to put a bounty on him.
Let's look at your logic. The only reason
I told you his bounty was 18 million.
Compared to 315 million.
Hold on. Wait, let's look at your logic. Let's look at your logic, Kisei. The only reason why Kid's bounty was introduced was to make Luke, to show us his readers is like, hey, there's another nigga that has a bounty higher than Luffy, that has a bounty higher than Luffy's, but it doesn't really fucking count.
And higher than who else, Hans?
Than Luffy's, but it didn't really matter.
No, and who else?
No, I'm not finished my point. You can respond when I'm done with my point.
Go ahead, my bad, I'm sorry.
When we bring up Kid's bounty when he was introduced, quote unquote, the only reason his bounty was introduced was to tell us as readers, like, hey, yeah, this is nigga that who supposedly has a higher bounty than Luffy. But don't worry about it because he's just doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? He's just going around killing civilians and shit. It ain't that really big of a deal. Like Luffy's still that nigga.
You don't get that high of a bounty from just killing civilians. The fact
that's
who had a better introduction.
Better introduction.
Who had a better introduction, and the fact that you're bringing in someone that's the same generation as Luffy, and you're like, this is Luffy, bam, this is Kid. There's a difference.
Yeah. The fact, but again, Kid's introduction wasn't even by himself. His introduction was in a group.
Have to do with anything.
It better enhances.
I'm not done, PJ. Hold on. His introduction was with a group of people that were all in Luffy's generation, that were all equally doing crazy shit just like Luffy. So when you try and separate Kid, it's not really fair. It's not fair to say, oh, because you're assigning the hype of his bounty and making it seem like that's causing his introduction to be so great. His introduction is to introduce a whole bunch of shit, a whole generation of people, not him by himself.
It's not just the bounty. It's just the fact that we have rivals for Luffy in the story that are of his generation. Like up until that point, we've only been fighting strong antagonists. We never really knew about who are the up and coming pirates in the series. And of all these up and coming pirates that we see in this, we see the one that stands out the most and has the highest bounty and is the one that
you are now on a free response portion.
Yeah, that's
hold on. Who gave comments about Kid? Was it Shaki, right? Shakuyaku? Right?
Shaki,
yeah.
Right.
Shaki.
Now, that person is also whose wife? Rayleigh's, right?
No, she's not. No, that's some headcanon. They're friends, but you know.
I swear she was Rayleigh's girl. Isn't she Rayleigh's girl?
It's a mute point.
It's a mute point, whether if she is or not. She's giving
comment it don't matter. Continue, my nigga. Go ahead. Let it go.
The main character, right? But you want to say the bounty saying stronger than Luffy, but you keep forgetting that he's higher than Buggy too. He's higher than Buggy.
Buggy's bounty is frozen. He's a warlord.
Sorry.
His bounty wasn't frozen before he got
How can you hype than Boy Hancock?
How can you argue that his introduction is the best when he is with a whole bunch of people?
Please hold on a second.
Loose head, you echoing?
Yeah, there's a
I don't know what that is.
It's loose head.
How?
Just mute real quick.
Yeah.
It's going down. All right, but again, you are trying to separate Kid when Kid was introduced with a whole generation rival Luffy himself. If you wanted to say that the worst generation's introduction was hype, yeah, I'd give it to you. But when you quote unquote say Kid has the best introduction, if you're quoting his introduction being him really getting talked down from a fight by his first mate, I guess. If that's impressive to you, I guess.
Also, if I can add, everything that Fruit brought up was completely perspective based. Oda,
absolutely.
There was no supernova that really stood out the most. Oda made sure he drew that.
Look at this guy, bro.
Okay, yeah, let me respond to that.
There's no.
Hold on, let him finish his point, man. He ain't saying nothing.
No, this is free round. I don't have to let him finish. I'm
He
sorry, but you don't have to talk over me. I'm sorry.
He was equal to everybody else, and I feel like you were supposed to pick out maybe a supernova who you thought was cool, but that doesn't specifically point out Kid.
How does that make sense when he purposely circled out Luffy?
Yes, exactly.
As the
completely.
top three.
He did not circle everybody out as the top three because Luffy,
he literally said those three are the only ones over 100,000. What are you talking about?
Oh, nobody was over 100,000. Every supernova was over 100. If that's what you're referring to, that's what the requirements of being a supernova is. And mind you, the three you're saying is the strongest were standing outside of an auction house while X Drake, your Rouge, Apu, and who else? Hawkins, the actual good supernovas that were strong. They were fighting. They were fighting Kizaru.
Wait, hold on, let me-
Right, but I'm sorry that we have somebody that are important where Buggy is sitting around tormenting some fat ass nigga that thought his nose, rubber nose. You're getting mad. You're a clown.
But again,
again, that's not what happened. You can go back to the manga.
Hold on, Lucid.
What happened?
You can try and minimize Buggy, but you have to understand that Buggy's introduction is the precursor to everything that you're quoting.
Precursor. This nigga is mad because he thought this guy was making fun of his nose.
No, it is the precursor. Let me explain why. Because Luffy is a man that is fighting for his dreams. He wants a real treasure, and just like Oda showed us, every villain, every protagonist, and people on Luffy's side or against him are gonna have dreams. Buggy showed us one of the first idealistic dreams that went against Luffy, and that was the first clash of dreams.
In introduction, right? So like the first few pages, they're showing that, right?
Yeah,
not
and
later
introduction.
down the line. This isn't about what he did later down the line. But I'm talking about in the first few pages.
I am talking about in his introduction.
What happened again?
What happened? There was the flashback between him and Shanks where Shanks was saying treasure no, Buggy was saying treasure is something of value, and Shanks believed treasure is something of sentiment. Just like how Luffy believes treasure is something of sentiment, like how he believed his hat was treasure. Buggy said, that is no treasure. This is a treasure. And he pointed to his gold. And that's what started a clash between ideals and dreams.
The only thing you have going for Buggy is the fact that he was one of the first introduced. If you look at all the characters that's been introduced in One Piece, Buggy
none of the
last.
No, he was introduced on chapter 9. No one has introduced on chapter 9.
Literally, no other character has an introduction like Buggy. No other character.
But can you at least specify what chapter Buggy was introduced on? Because this shit y'all saying
chapter 9. You're right. He was introduced in chapter 9.
Right.
But just like I said, as you guys kept saying, we're not talking. The
question is not whether
you guys mentioned what happened at the auction house. You guys mentioned what Kid is gonna do, and how stop. You guys mentioned the auction house and how the three were singled out, Law, Luffy, and Kid. That was not no fucking introduction. That was the middle of Sabaody. That was before Kizaru came.
Hey, that's all
Kid
right,
was
though,
introduced in the chapter titled 11 Supernovas. Back to my point. If you guys want to only include chapter 9, you cannot say anything but Kid versus Apu. Don't mention Luffy. Don't mention Law.
Another supernova with a bounty over fucking Buggies, and they're supernovas.
Oh yeah, but you do realize everything you said about Kid's introduction can be applied to Apu, can be applied to Luffy, can be applied to Bonnie, can be applied to X Drake.
Shut up! Shut up, Lucid, shut up. Thank you.
Great job. Now we're on to the outro. The captain's a meme for the people, man. What the fuck, bro? Roll again.
Bro, you gotta make this shit out of 10 or some shit, man.
Alright, they go first.
Grimm, you gotta take the parasite off this dice, man. What the heck?
Alright, Soap. You have there's another echo again. Everybody please connect your headphones. Alright. Soap, you have 3 minutes. Do as you please.
Okay, so let me just start off by saying this. When you look at the argument that Ali makes, their argument shifts a couple times. They first start off by mentioning solely, honestly, Kid's height. They talk about the moment where Kid, Luffy, and Law are sitting there in front of the auction house ready to fuck up the Marines. Yes, that is height. No, that's not about his introduction. That's not when we A. When we point that out, then their argument starts to shift about how Buggy's introduced really, really early in the series. The question is not about how early the introduction was, whether the introduction was great and has relevance right now. And I think Buggy's introduction is the precursor and really starts to set the pace and the trend for the story moving forward, and allows characters like allows characters like Eustace Kid to shine, because Buggy showed us what conflicting ideals battling against each other look like, what two devil fruit users going against each other look like. And without Buggy, we wouldn't be able to move on to characters like Arlong, Crocodile, Anel, etc., etc., etc. Lucid.
Yep. And I also want to point out the fact that you guys were so quick to tell us we're not using the introduction, but he was introduced chapter 9. But you guys never mentioned once. I'm the one that had to show you the introduction of Kid, because you guys never mentioned his introduction side by side with Apu and the fact that they were about to fight in their introduction, because you guys just wanted to go off the whole hype, all the hype he used in all of Sabaody. And that is fine. But if you're going to pinpoint our arguments and say, use the introduction, how could you say that when you didn't even bring up your own fucking introduction to the character you chose? I had to tell you about it.
Also, I
go take it away, Will.
I feel like Buggy's introduction on that seat was foreshadowing for him being a king, something grander than Kid. And I feel like my statement's been proven already. All you got to do is look at each of the situations they're in right now, and you'll see who's in the better situation.
Damn.
And to finally conclude, sorry to cut you off, Will, just remember that what you guys said for the introduction of Kid can also be applied to Luffy, Jewelry Bonnie, X-Drake, Rouge, Hawkins, Law, all the rest of the supernovas. And they're just supernovas. Buggy is a fucking warlord now. Come on.
And he
has a better crew than every supernova, and he's more of a rival to Luffy than any of them are. He's been with Luffy since the beginning of the series. He's been a reoccurring character for a goddamn reason. The one you said irrelevant is what, 12th or 13th most frequently seen in the series by panel count.
And not only that, like I would have more reason to side with your argument if his introduction wasn't coupled with so many other characters. You know what I'm saying? Buggy's introduction is something that you can't forget. He's a fucking clown who's holding up some motherfuckers with his, you know what I'm saying, separating his limbs and shit.
Good job, guys. Ali?
Yeah, can I start this?
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to open this up with a quote from Lucid talking about Buggy. He's more of a rival to them than any of them are. Dog, this is like the most headcanon statement I've ever heard in my entire life. You're trying to say that Buggy is more of a rival to them than Kid, someone who's in his generation, someone who had a higher bounty than him pre-time skip, someone who was shown with him and Law, someone who is shown to have a pirate alliance that might even be stronger than his, that's making moves against Yonkos while he is himself. Like, you are that is just the most blasphemous statement. Now,
call him trash, bro. Don't worry. You can call him trash. He's trash. He's trash for thinking.
Back to the introduction. You keep bringing up the fact that Kid was brought up with another character. Kid was brought up with a poo. He didn't even get his own character introduction. Like that's just such a terrible argument. Like, I've said this multiple times, and I guess you just keep bringing it up or you forget about it or whatever, but yes, he was brought up with 11 other characters, and he was fighting with another character in his introduction, but he stood out amongst all those other characters as one of the most unique and probably the person who's going to be the one to rival Luffy at the end of the series.
Where you got
All right.
Ali?
And the thing that you were saying is that we're cultivating our introduction with hype when the point of an introduction is to get hyped over it. So what are you trying to say there? The reason an intro is so good is because how you can base it on hype. And you see this guy, and you definitely know that he's going to be one, if not the last two people to go head clash against Luffy. And then you also said that Buggy's been like one of the main villains, or he's like made the story drive or something. You literally can take Buggy out of the story and nothing changes as where if you were to take Kid out of the story, the whole entire story changes. There would no be Kaido.
That is a fucking lie, and you know it.
Quit cutting us off.
Stop.
Lucid chill.
Yeah,
And then you guys were also talking about how we've seen Buggy more often. How does that have to do anything with an intro? What does seeing some guy in multiple panels have anything to do with how they were introduced?
Kisa.
I mean, these guys are forgetting the whole point that Usta's Kid comes from a generation of pirates that are way stronger than Buggy. You can take your fanboy shit and go on somewhere with it, Lucid. All these motherfuckers are way more aggressive, can fuck up Buggy anytime they want to. And it's sad that a nigga like Buggy, you know, you want to bring up the fact that, yeah, we brought up other parts of Cambodia and what happened, but you know what? You guys could have did the same thing. But if you did that, you would have brought up the fact that Luffy, pre-time skip, and Nami defeated this sorry-ass nigga. So if we really wanted to go back, you guys would have looked more stupid. So actually, you know what? It was probably best that you didn't go down
This is the game of the week, bitch.
Y'all niggas had the most headcanon points. Oh, Kid is more important. If we took out Buggy out of the series, you can't have any other.
Oh, please give us the judges.
How does Luffy get out of Impact Down without Buggy?
Chill.
Please give us a minute to deliberate on our scores and what we thought, then we'll drop it.
All right, during that minute, can I body these niggas some more or what?
Yeah, let him go.
Use you, please.
I don't know if that's fair. Oh, whatever. Okay, never mind.
Just free for a couple minutes.
Yeah, but Kid, the most important character. Kid, if he wasn't introduced, do you realize Oda literally said he didn't intend on releasing the supernovas at that point in the series? He fucking said that.
To do with anything.
You sitting here bringing up how Buggy get fucked up by all of the supernovas.
Why y'all still talking when this shit is not even gonna be calculated? Y'all niggas must feel some type of way.
Because
Y'all feeling some type of way.
No, but you literally said, Kid is more important to the story than Buggy is. And Cube, back to your point about how it was headcanon to say Buggy is Luffy's rival.
All right, guys.
And how when their powers oppose each other, their dreams oppose each other.
What are you doing, bro?
The minute's over.
I'll say it again. This is already the game of the week.
You guys both win.
let's go.
Um,
Oh man, I'll take that participation badge.
Wallow, you lead the way.
All right, man. Hey, you feel me? Y'all boys was going in on each other, bro. But there's a lot of points, bro, where both of y'all it was like, you feel me? Like, I personally didn't like the fact that y'all kept saying, like, the introduction, you feel me, is more than just him by his, bro. We're not. It's just his introduction. It don't matter if it's with anyone else. If that's how we're reading a story, and if that's how he's introduced, you have to use it. You know what I'm saying? So y'all kept coming at that same point over and over, but that's the story. You know what I'm saying? So that I wasn't really feeling that, because I felt like there was other things you could have targeted and went after personally on that aspect. But then again, you got more situations that was going on. Like, man, overall, honestly, bro, I'm gonna just cut straight to the chase. Ali done won that.
Cool. Grimm,
What's up? You want me to go?
I'll go. You go last. This is
Who did you get a point to? I didn't even hear it. Who did you get a point to?
Ali-san.
Kid.
Kid? Okay.
Yeah.
I just looked right here.
Like, I got
This is a really fucking good one. Best one for sure.
Yeah, you guys were going back and forth, just dropping shit, all kinds of viewpoints. I flip-flopped like 18 times. I enjoyed all sides. You guys were mentioning how this guy like had a high bounty coming in. This guy was able to resist conquers. You guys were mentioning that in the beginning. You guys were like displaying how like this guy was the first time we see another fruit user, and it's this crazy. This guy has ties to a Yonko. The end of series hype for this one character. How impressive his powers were when we saw them compared to the rest of the powers and shit too. Comparing him to the main character, like there were so many things you guys mentioned, and then the attack process. Like you guys, in terms of argument, I couldn't really separate the two of you guys. You guys were both doing great in terms of like actually dropping the argument and displaying what you meant. But at the end of the day, I think that I'm more convinced that Buggy had the best introduction. With the results of the arguments, I'm seeing this Buggy as more as the better introduction with how the argument was resulting in. But that's my vote.
Shaddy.
All right, yeah. Well, first off, you guys both did the best. You guys gave everybody the blueprint of how you should do it. Pretty much, this is how the way it should go. Perfect. You guys basically did almost everything about the actual argument. You guys did perfect. You guys did almost 100% even. So I had to bring it down to points. What points you guys were bringing up to hype up? What you guys brought up? What was hype about the character? What was not? And you guys left out a lot of stuff that Kid did that you guys or Kid went through that you guys did. I'm surprised you guys didn't bring it up ever. Like stuff with Kaido, stuff with his losing his arm, stuff with their plans to take down Shanks, stuff to there was all the stuff that you guys should have mentioned, and I was surprised you did. And that's why I gotta give it to Buggy because I couldn't think of the points that they didn't bring up, but you guys did even everywhere else. Like literally, it was perfect. Blueprint of how to do this situation.
That was a good round, though. That was a good round. Though.
Best starter on our team, though.
Now we're moving on to the next question. Give me 2 seconds.
I can't think of anybody else who would have been better to start that question.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
You guys actually both did superb. I'm not even gonna lie. That was so.
Yeah, no, that was a really good.
That's why I was waiting for you guys to go on longer because I was sitting here deducing the reasons why what faults you did have, if any. That was the only thing I could figure out. And just saying the serious points of the storyline. Go on.
The next point that we're gonna get to is the best duo. Explain why you have the best duo.
Like team, Buggy and Luffy running through Impel Down, or Law and Luffy taking down.
Like, do we have to wait? Do we have to use characters we have on our team?
Can we reuse a character? Can we reuse a character?
You have to use characters on your team, and you can't reuse your last character.
Ah, fuck.
So it has to be, it's them with someone they've teamed up with before.
No, I was only referencing it as in the sense that, like, those are the concepts that I think about when he's saying tag team duo.
You pick two characters, and you explain why they're the best duo. Why those two together are the best duo.
And that.
Dog, whoever's in the kitchen, please. Fucking.
All right, yes. However, you can explain why the two characters you're about to pick are the best duo will be sufficient. Now, if you both present the two characters you're going to choose.
Give me a second.
Can we deliberate?
Yeah.
Sure, do as you please. Actually, roll. Let's roll first, so then we can deliberate on turns.
Okay.
All right. So Ali, your team is doing that first. Hello.
Yeah, we're here. How low we got to decide? Like, are we gonna decide right now or what?
Yeah.
Fuck. The best duo.
I'm like 50-50. It don't really burn.
We just got to do it. It's just
All right.
pretty good.
All right, we'll go Sengoku and Aokiji.
Okay.
We're gonna go Jinbei and Shirahoshi.
Ooh. All right. Niggas trying to. All right.
I see the synergy. I
Ali?
see the synergy.
Are we going first?
This is yo. This is the fucking. All right. Lead the way, Ali.
All right, first off, we already have two Marines on one side, so not only do they have that Marine connection, but they also were known to be friends. And if it were not for Akainu, Aokiji probably would have been Fleet Admiral. You could count that as headcanon, but I would feel like that's right.
No, that's not headcanon whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. So not only do they have the Marine connection, but they're also friends on a terms basis, and their powers go really well too. Where Aokiji, not only is he like strong from a distance, but he can be strong up close. And Sengoku, with what little we've seen and the title that he holds, we know he's strong as fuck. So not only do we have it on like they know each other on a good basis, and not only are they strong together, but they also are smart. Not only did Sengoku team up with Akainu at that point, even though our teammate isn't Akainu, it shows that Sengoku does have knowledge, for strategy. When he did that thing against Whitebeard, where he basically got who's the guy that stabbed Whitebeard?
What was
Squardo.
it?
Squardo, yeah, when he got Squardo to basically go against his own captain. So we know Sengoku has the mind for it. And then we have also seen Aokiji. Aokiji, we've seen him like damn near freeze the old thing, so we know he's fast on his feet. And we also know that he's got like the same mentality as Sengoku, as where they're not super strict about anything, but they do get the job done when it's needed.
Right. And
Yeah.
Go ahead, Fruit. Go ahead, Fruit.
And like that's just like their synergy together as Marines from like a powers perspective, as like a duo, they could be like a fucking deadly ass combination, because Aokiji can freeze shit, and then Sengoku can like blow all of his fucking ice up with like the Buddha palm, and like they're just like crazy together. Like they have so many combinations that they can do with each other. Aside or as well with being like just two of the strongest characters in the entire series. Like Sengoku was Fleet Admiral, and Sengoku also has in a fight, if like those two were to fight together, Sengoku is like the master tactician, and Aokiji is just like a straight up monster. Like he has one of the best double fruits in the series. So like if they were
Who's making all that noise?
Yeah,
I think it was me. My bad.
Whoever they fight almost has literally zero chance. Like there's not very many duos in the entire series that can even like come close to this.
Right. I just want to add in, it's like these two are loyal under one power, and I feel that just the fact that they are Marines, they have experienced many different types of tragedy. You have Sengoku that have suffered beyond things like Rosiante dying. You have Aokiji that let Robin go. These guys have somewhat of that emotional bond towards things that are of the new generation. How Aokiji questions Luffy about what he wants to see from him, and Sengoku, despite what happened at Marineford, he took Kobe's words and he was shunned by him. And I know Shanks came in and really stamped it, but it's the fact that these two are seeing beyond what it is to just be a cruel justice. And with that, these two are capable of doing great things together, if not on the side, because we can believe for sure that Aokiji joining Blackbeard's pirates is to do infiltration, hopefully to help out the Marines. And we know that when it was said that Sengoku resigned, it also revealed him as an inspector general. So these guys, both of them, are still under the cause to help out the Marines in any way they can. So these two as a duo together have two brilliant minds. One a tactician that has been able to use people to infiltrate pirate crews and get information from them. But then you have this other one that's actually joining the crews, getting intel back. These guys are like a working clockwork, man. They just know what's...
All right, guys.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry. Go, Grimm.
No, you think?
Oh, it's
Go
my
ahead.
toss to go. Okay, yeah. So, Jinbei and Shirahoshi is our pick. Why? Jinbei and Shirahoshi. Jinbei, the king of the sea, the strongest fishman. Shirahoshi, the mermaid queen or princess or whatever the fuck. We don't even care right now. These two are the strongest on the seas. By bar none, nobody is competing with these two in an on-sea battle. Sure, Hoshi being capable to call forth the Sea Kings, Jinbei being able to call forth any and every living creature in the sea around him. He called forth sharks, fish, everything, and this man can control water currents. He can steer a ship through the center, the eye of a wave. What can't this man do on the seas?
And let me just add on to Lucid's point. I believe the question was who was the best duo and not the strongest. So when we look at Aokiji and Sengoku, yeah, they're clearly physically overwhelmed. When we look at our duo Jinbei and Shirahoshi, they do have the strength when it comes to the seas, but when it comes to their relevance in the world, I think they have a different effect. Shirahoshi being the princess of Fishman Island, and Jinbei being a Shichibukai that's raised the status of Fishman Island. That dynamic uh, can further advance their nation's goals. You know what I'm saying? They're both of their interests are intertwined. They've both seen the devastation that happened to Shirahoshi's mother. They understand the hatred that can happen in fishmen's hearts when it relates to humans. So, and not only that, they also know that Shirahoshi being an ancient weapon and Jinbei being a former Shichibukai, Jinbei has a lot of respect in the seas, and Jinbei can use his clout as well as Shirahoshi being an ancient weapon to negotiate with other parties, say the admirals, say the marine, say Yonkos, et cetera, to really further their own goals. So instead of we can argue about strength feats and who has better, etc. But the fact that these two characters are from the same country that have gone through similar experiences have lost a single person that held great relevance to their island and to their backstory. I think adds to their overall synergy because they can go down multiple routes. They understand how each other thinks. They know. Will, you got anything
Yeah,
to add?
also, like their nation and they themselves are like tied to so many different things that they can really like impact the world with what they have. Like we know with Fishman Island, they had Whitebeard. They had a good relationship and standing with Whitebeard. So that's something they have there. They have both of them a really close relationship with the Straw Hats, who we know Luffy's gonna be future Pirate King. We know that's happening. We know they have a lot of pull there. Jinbei getting involved with Big Mom. It's just so many different connections and opportunities for them to expose. Really, I feel like they can do even more impact on the world than Aokiji and Sengoku could. That's just
Exactly.
all I
Like Ao,
Not
but Aokiji and Goku, they are tied by the bureaucracy that is the Marines. You know what I'm saying? They do have superiors, they have ups above them, so they can't willy nilly do everything that they want. Their main Shirahoshi have a little bit more flexibility than Aokiji and Sengoku do. Shirahoshi, even though she is a princess of an island, she can use Jinbei to do things that she can't. Jinbei is a little more. I don't know what word you want to use. Extracurricular. You know what I'm saying? Like motherfucker don't abide by normal rules. You feel me? Like he will bend orthodoxy to advance his nation's interest while Shirahoshi's the pretty face. So again, they have multiple avenues that are not just strength that makes their duo incredibly enticing.
All right, guys. Um. Okay. Now we're going into the debate portion. Um. The only improvements I want for this round is to please follow the rules as much as possible.
Yeah.
Proceed, guys.
They start, right?
Yep.
I mean, okay, so I'll just start it off. I mean, you guys do bring up Aokiji and Sengoku with the whole Marines and stuff, but this again is not a conversation about who's the strongest duo, but the best duo overall. So
Okay. That's not an argument because I'm the only one on our team that even brought up power level when it came to that. Both of them talked about like other like synergies that they had together. I was the only one that brought up how their powers could synergize together. And again, this is the best duo, so you can't just say power doesn't matter. It's a very generalized question. Everything matters.
Okay,
I
but
mean,
here's
power. Look,
but here's the thing. Where does their synergy like get them? Like these are two men who are at this point at odds with each other. Sengoku still having ties to the world government, and Aokiji being a worker for Blackbeard. So I feel like even though they do have good synergy, how much good could they really do together at this point?
At odds with each other, I don't know if that's a really good word to use. Aokiji was the person that Sengoku wanted to become fleet admiral in the first place.
Yes, but
I
at
mean,
this point,
I don't think Sengoku wanted Aokiji to become a member of the Blackbeard Pirates. Though.
exactly.
That's a little different.
But for all we know, you have no idea if Aokiji was doing it just to go undercover.
Headcanon,
But I mean,
stop it.
It is headcanon.
Yeah, that's your headcanon too.
That's your. But the
Mike,
thing
what's
is,
my
here's
headcanon?
another
It's
point.
not.
My
Chill.
headcanon says that Sengoku. My headcanon says that Sengoku didn't approve of Aokiji becoming a pirate.
Yeah.
Your headcanon says he does. Come on.
Okay, it's
But you know
clear,
what's
on
not
now.
headcanon? The fact that
Headcanon is
Aokiji a
headcanon.
Blackbeard pirate.
it's clear in the
Oh my
series.
God.
A Marine
you can't talk when your
switching
teammates-
pirates.
I mean, it's kind of both headcanon. We just don't know.
But let me ask a question because I did maybe I'm just stupid and I didn't hear it, but I don't see what other benefit that Aokiji and Sengoku has as a duo besides their overwhelming strength.
That's the foolish thing is that you forget that they are Marines. They understand what it is to beat out in war, to fight and serve people.
Again,
What does
I'm sorry,
what does
but
Shirahoshi and Jinbei serve as for the people of their own people? What do they serve? And tell me what they've done.
Shirahoshi is the princess. Jinbei.
Go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
Okay, Jinbei is the freedom fighter that literally became a warlord against his own will. He did not want to be with the government, but for the sake of his country and defending that country, he became a warlord. He freed fishmen for for Fishman Island to protect and keep their home stronger, and he defended it. When he wasn't with the Marines, he was with Whitebeard, getting his defenses from Whitebeard. And as soon as Whitebeard died, and he wasn't with the Marines either, and he wasn't a Shishibukai, he had to side with Big Mom, because in his first interest is Fishman Island's protection.
Yeah, for the fishmen. But where does Shirahoshi fit into your duo? What does she
But
do in alliance with him? Nothing, because Shirahoshi was a sheltered little princess girl. So how the hell
let me frame it to you. All right, so let me spit it to you this way, Kisei, since you lack imagination. You feel me? So when Shirahoshi is the princess of Fishman Island, even though she does not have the physical strength, she does have the political will. You feel me? She is, regardless or not, the face or one of the many faces of Fishman Island when it comes to royalty. So when you have Jinbei raising their clout on the seas, Shirahoshi can raise their clout, say on the stage of the Reverie or in front of the world government, when she, like the same way her mother did. You know what I'm saying? Her mother was the one that went out and fucking got Fishman to sign a petition while Fishman, Tiger, and Jinbei were fucking freeing slaves and shit. So that we can argue that the relationship between Jinbei and Shirahoshi can be very similar to Tiger and Shirahoshi's mother.
Yeah, and I feel like really like the point is
Stop.
Wait, let me.
Go ahead, Ali. Go ahead.
I was gonna say you basically said the exact opposite of what you were trying to say there. You said that Jinbei was working with Fisher Tiger, who was literally trying to break free the slaves, as where her Shirahoshi's mom is trying to sign petitions. Those go head and head against each other. Those are not the same. Those are not working together.
What were they signing a petition to do? Please, can you answer me that question?
To free the fishmen, but it doesn't matter because one of them was doing it illegally and one of them was trying to do it legally.
My point. You're trying to minimize the point when you know the answer. Like you're talking bullshit.
They are not working together to get to that point, though.
Yeah, but in this scenario, Jin and Shirahoshi are working together and they can do the exact same thing. So again, I don't know what you're talking about.
Working together when I literally just pointed out two facts.
No, but here's the thing though: their goals are aligned, and they
aligned
to reach those goals. Maybe not in the same way, but that doesn't mean they don't have the ability to work together.
The whole point of a duo is to achieve one goal in one way.
That's not true.
No,
I would
no,
argue
because
no,
a
that's
duo means
extremely
two
false.
ways.
And either
No.
I don't understand
No.
how you can
No.
like. Are you trying to
If
argue
a
with us
duo
that
is
Jinbei
two,
and
right?
Shirahoshi do not aren't parties like of interest? Like they would never work together? Is that what you're trying to tell me right now?
Okay, this is the problem.
Is that what you're arguing?
This is
That's
the
what
this is
you're
the
trying to
problem
say.
with your chill. This is the problem with your entire argument is that you seem to bring up a lot of points about Jinbei and Shirahoshi individually, but we don't really see how they're exactly a good duo together. Like I haven't really been convinced at all how these guys are like.
Well, my job not to convince you, food. My job to convince the judges. But let me tell you this, bro. If you're trying to argue that Jinbei and Shirahoshi cannot work together whatsoever, that's bullshit. Shirahoshi is literally his princess. Literally his princess. So obviously, if Shirahoshi gives an order to Jinbei, what Jinbei gonna fucking say no?
What order is she gonna give when she's a young little girl? She's fragile.
She
What orders is she gonna do? What leadership can she have at a young age where she's so fragile and broken? Who knows what the fuck she can actually do to back up Jinbei in anything that they get encountered with? Jinbei's gonna be the one making the calls.
But she's not young enough to go to this year reverie though. But she a young little girl. Shut up, Kisei. What are you talking about?
The problem with this whole thing is that Jinbei and Shirahoshi are not a duo whatsoever. He's like her knight in shining armor. She's literally just some little girl like trapped away in some locked up room.
Okay.
And they have literally zero synergy together. Like, there's almost no synergy between the two, other than the fact that they're both fit.
What? Like Sengoku is literally Aokiji Super. What are you talking about?
Is Aokiji superior? He's old now. Aokiji has a broken leg, and he has left.
Wait, are you trying to argue that they would win in a fight?
There is no synergy there. He's left the Marines. He is a pirate now. They are on opposing sides. They are enemies.
Okay, again, you keep bringing up...
Sengoku made it clear that he won't, like, he showed Garp, even though that was his son or his adoptive son, he showed him and he told him not to switch sides. So we know Sengoku isn't siding with any pirate.
Lucid, do you know what character Rosinante is in the series?
Yes, I do.
Do you know he was undercover, led by Sengoku?
Yes, I do.
That's
okay,
it. That look.
Okay, so now you can say this is headcanon all you want, but to say that they are at odds with each other is just as much of headcanon to say that they are on the same page. We don't know, so stop bringing up that point.
There's a lot more evidence.
Stop. Let me speak. Stop. Let me speak. Is it really? Who was the person and who was surprised when they mentioned that Blackbeard was now with, that Aokiji was now with Blackbeard? Who mentioned that? Who was surprised? Body. Sengoku. So how would he have set this up if he was surprised?
Okay.
Do you want a panel?
No,
yeah,
okay.
Sure.
Okay, but the thing is, all right, with your guys, you brought up mostly that Jinbei was doing this, Jinbei was doing that, you never incorporated where Shirahoshi would come in. And you're saying, once again, a Toddy mistake, Lucid. Why are you saying that she's going to control the Sea Kings?
I do not.
She has barely to control it all. You brought that up in
I said she has the capability of doing it, which she does.
Lucid, I got this. Lucid, I got this. Because I don't need to argue Shirahoshi being able to use her ability. Shirahoshi knows that she can control those Sea Kings. She knows that it exists within her. All she has to do is go to, say, a Yonko, say, an Admiral, hey, I'm a fucking ancient weapon.
Why are you bringing up scenarios like that when we talk about duoing with Jinbei?
I'm saying as a duo with Jinbei's connection and her power, her knowing that she is an ancient weapon, she can use that with Jinbei's connection to to raise their interest and propel their interest forward. We don't need overwhelming strength.
Good luck, Shirahoshi helping Jinbei when you can't even leave the fucking water when he can. Good luck helping support him if he really needs to get out of a situation that she can't help.
She can't pop her head outside
not she can't her head.
Telling that she ain't never been on no type of land. She's never been fully out of water. Is that what you're telling me? She ain't never been no type out of water.
Chill.
She's literally making
who's gonna
plans
teach
right
her
now
to use
go
this
up.
power? Who's gonna teach her to use this power when we've literally heard of no one else having this power?
Does not need to use the power.
She does not need to be
That
taught.
she is the power. That is what I'm
Like,
arguing. She is, and
does
once
not
they
need-
know that she is an ancient weapon, she has the interest of the top tiers within the series. So whatever interest that her and Jinbei do have, because we know Jinbei does have connections with very powerful people. So once Jinbei lets them know that, hey, Shirahoshi wants me to tell you, hey, my nigga, I'm a weapon, motherfucker. With it or get got, my
A
nigga.
weapon that can't fucking work
It
properly.
does not. That is not the point.
Negating the fact
chill,
that if a power cannot be used. Hold on, I'm not done with my point. I'm not done with my point. Hold on.
That's why I said I'm talking to Soap. Chill.
Now the fact is that you keep bringing up that she has the capability, she has the power, but in the situation of a duo, when that power is needed and she has no real way to say I'm going to use it now, but also I just know I have it in me. That is two different things.
Again, Kisei, no one is bringing up the duel. This is not about whether who's the strongest duo physically in a fight. I am arguing that what she has, what her powers are, whether or not she can control them, she can let people know that she is this. And because that she is this thing, fight and die for and search for centuries. The fact that she is this thing, she can use that to her advantage simply by letting niggas know that she is this, not by flexing it. And if you don't understand my point by saying, oh, she can't control it, that is not my argument. Don't get it fucked up.
Okay, I don't even understand. What are you trying to argue? Are you trying to argue that Jinbei and Shirahoshi have better duo attributes than ours?
Yes.
Yeah, and
that's like
synergy.
What? Synergy, we've never seen
the fact that they work toward
Goku and Aokiji work together.
No, you haven't.
And plus, when it comes down to it, Aokiji and Son
Marineford,
Goku.
you saw Son Goku sit down on a fucking chair until.
Are they not working on the same team?
Yo,
yeah, working on the same team, sitting down on a chair until Whitebeard died.
And Shirahoshi is literally the princess of his country. Again, what's your point?
He just spoke.
When it comes down to it, Aokiji and Son Goku have the closest sense of justice that there probably is, because out of all the admirals, he nominated Aokiji to be the fleet admiral.
Okay, that's fantastic. But again, you're trying to act like they have no relationship whatsoever. She is the princess of his country. And motherfucker from his country.
And Jinbei is like a knight in shining armor. He's like her grandpa. They're not a duo whatsoever.
You don't. What do you?
Can't be a duo with
what you just said. Mind you, you guys said that we couldn't. That Shirahoshi can't control her power. In all the cases where she has used her power, she used it to protect people dear to her. And as you said, Jinbei is like a grandpa that's her knight in shining armor. So if that knight in shining armor is in danger, she would probably use that power, going by the examples of every time it was shown to us. Correct?
Okay, right. But
in circumstances of where she can use that power to help. What if Jinbei's not in the water? What if Jinbei's not in the water?
It doesn't matter. The Sea Kings will come as close as they can.
Okay, you can wave from the fucking coastline, but if Jinbei's in Dressrosa inside, sorry, Shira, you're not helping me.
Kisei, I appreciate you trying real hard to bring down Shirahoshi because she cannot use her power. She does not. Hold on, she does not need to use her power for them to be an effective duo. For them to whatever the interest is, whatever you want to. Whether it is to the nature of their country, the status of their country, them as a duo is effective. We do not need them to fight together to be an effective duo.
Shirahoshi is not a duo with anyone. She can't control her power. She doesn't really have. Okay, that's not the point. She just cries all the time. She's more of a baby than Momonosuke.
We've seen her in moments of danger use her power to protect Luffy. Like, when it comes down to it, Shirahoshi's willing to do what she needs to do to get it done.
Okay, but that's beside the point. That's just showing that she can do it. Yes, but on a consistent basis whatsoever, no.
Again, you keep going back to you and your team keep going back to the same point. She can't use her power. She cannot use her power. I will say it again. She does not need to have full control of her power for them to be an effective duo. It doesn't have to be that. You can try and minimize the argument however you want by saying, oh, well, she needs full control. She really doesn't. Like I don't know how else to spin it to you.
I got it, Froob.
Okay.
I mean, what other attributes are you guys gonna argue then? Brains? Are you gonna say Shirahoshi is
I mean,
smarter?
we already see her.
Okay.
We already see her
well-
using her political pull to help out Fishman anyway. She's planning on going up to the surface to help pursue Fishman goals of
If she
socialize.
were to work with the military or the Navy, she would not be able to work with Jinbei. So why would you bring that up?
Why would she not be able to work with Jinbei? When
Because
Jinbei has to
Jinbei
respect
is a
the name.
pirate.
But it's
Jinbei
pursuing
was,
the same
but
goal.
Jinbei was
Jinbei was a pirate working with Whitebeard
Still
while he
giving
was a
him respect.
Shichibukai. Stop
Yes,
it.
he's not a
Hey,
Shichibukai
can
no
I throw
more.
this in real quick? It's very weird how this duo, right, is so strong, but yet who is the guy that left his own crew for another crew? You think he's gonna be dedicated to Shirahoshi that bad?
I think he's
dedicated to the fishman country.
No, but
and
answer my
I'm not
point.
finished. I'm not finished. You made a point. I'm answering your point. Don't cut me off, please.
Oh yeah.
He is very dedicated to Fishman Island and everybody there. So yes, he would be dedicated to the princess. And speaking of shit that is very funny, it's very funny that this is a two-way debate, and you guys have done all your jobs bringing up and trying to tear down our points about Shirahoshi. But I don't know if it's my short-term memory loss, but what the fuck was your point? What duo did Sengoku and Aokiji have? Because I don't remember. Y'all didn't say shit about your point, because y'all don't fucking have one. There is no... Your point was that they're both Marines. Your point was they're both Marines, but they're not both Marines.
Can we respond?
Go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say, not only are they Marines, not only are they stronger,
They're not
only
Marines.
are they smarter, not only have we seen them actually work together, your duo has nothing to do with like each other besides he works under her.
He has nothing. They have nothing to do with each other. Are you serious?
Besides, he works under her.
They have nothing.
Your
to
main
do with
point
each
and
other.
your first point that you brought up was that they're both Marines. They're not both Marines. Stop saying that. Have you read the series? Aokiji is now a pirate.
Okay,
So they're enemies.
Okay, and Jinbei left the fucking Fishman to join Luffy's crew.
No,
okay,
no, he did not.
Why did he? Okay, Prove. Let me ask you a question. Why did he leave
Luffy
Luffy's crew?
said he was going to protect the fishmen. He went with the person who's in his best interest is to protect the fishmen. He did not abandon no
You
fishmen.
still left. You still left,
Oh
regardless
my
of
God.
how your intentions were. You still left.
You can bring that up.
You want to bring up how Aokiji left? Remember, Jinbei left his own crew too.
Kisei, hold
did
on,
not
but
leave
did he
his
not?
crew.
Hold on, Lucid, because that's some bullshit that Kisei just spit right there. Because we've seen even in this arc that we're in right now, we had a whole couple pages where Jinbei sitting here having a conversation with his crew, like, hey, look, I ain't really want to do this, and them niggas was like, hey, bro, you always put us before yourself. How about you just do something for your benefit one
That
time?
has to do with the fishmen, not the princess. What are you talking about?
Oh, so is she not a fish?
Oh, wait,
Not
so,
the
so, so let me,
mermaids. No,
well, you guys keep
that he
bringing
doesn't
up.
do stuff for the fishmen.
That's a minute
you guys keep bringing up how
motherfucking point, bro.
Jinbei
Hold on,
left his
Lucid,
crew.
because I'm not
Wait,
even.
wait,
I
just
didn't
let
even get to finish my
let me-
point. Hold on,
Okay, fine.
because when you not even that, we had a whole
We're now in the
bunch of
free
pages
response
about-
portion.
We had a whole.
Oh, yeah.
Let me finish my part real quick, and then you guys could jump in real quick. Look, we had a whole bunch of panels with Jinbei talking to his crew, like, "Hey, I just want y'all to know my reason why I'm leaving y'all niggas." When he was talking to King Neptune about his actions with Luffy and what he's gonna do with Big Mom, King Neptune was in here. I respect what you're doing. You've always put our country first. So what you think? You think he not gonna ride for his princess?
I'm glad you brought up King Neptune. I'm glad because who says that King Neptune is going to allow his daughter to duo with Jinbei in any events that happen? He's her fucking guardian. He's going to let Jinbei say, "Yeah, y'all guys can go out in the sea. My only daughter. I'm going to let y'all go ahead and duo together and do things together."
I can hit you with the same argument. Why can't the girls say be like, "Hey, Sengoku, I don't want you fucking with some nigga that's working under Blackbeard."
The girls say is a lot different than a sheltered father that put her in shelter to not be around people. That is different from the Gorosei, so don't say that.
Yeah, you're right. It is different. It's a lot different. And why is it different? Because the Gorosei are ruthless, relentless, and they'll probably fucking kill Sengoku for siding with a pirate. Whereas the daughter is going to be nurturing and caring. It's headcanon. Oh, what? Okay, let's go back to what Sengoku said would happen to Garp if he helped Ace.
Okay, but here's the difference.
Because
In this
why didn't Garp help Ace then?
Sengoku has the ability to do whatever the fuck he wants. He's basically
Oh, he
retired,
does?
and he
Oh, he
has
does?
he has the courage to go against the world government if
Oh,
need
he
be.
does.
Shirahoshi is literally fucking. She's literally sheltered. She's useless. She does nothing.
Okay, so
She can't do anything about anyone else.
Let me ask you a question, Fruit. Then why didn't Sengoku release the bounty posters of all the niggas that escaped from level 6? It's because he ain't want to? Is that what you telling me?
Why are you bringing up people that don't matter right now?
What?
He
Why are you
could
bringing
it.
people
Nah,
that don't matter right
because Sengoku don't got it. Apparently, Sengoku don't got to listen to structure. He don't answer to nobody. Apparently, according to
That
Fruit.
is not what I said
That is
whatsoever.
not what
I
he
said
said.
I said he doesn't need to if need be. I said if he had it, if he wanted to, he could. Shirahoshi does not even have the capabilities to do it. She doesn't have the courage to do it.
Understand what a duo is. They are people that experience all different things together as a unit or under the same name. Shirahoshi and Jinbei don't share those same experiences. Jinbei's been a pirate. He's been under different things in his life compared to Shirahoshi. And you're going to say they're going to be an easy duo. You really saying that?
Yeah, the reason why I say that is because Shirahoshi has known Jinbei since she was little and always had respect for him. Jinbei has come to greatly admire Shirahoshi's devotion towards her mother, Otahime, for keeping her promise and not having Otami's, whatever this bitch's name is, Shirahoshi's mom's killer, Hody. Jinbei also stated that he will protect Shirahoshi and her ideals.
Right.
So that's two people that have good synergy, devoted to care for each other and protect each other. Yes, I'm pretty sure that's a lot better than two people that just kind of know each other.
Right.
Nigga, you're talking about two people that used to be co-workers. They ain't even co-workers no more.
That's all right, because one is pursuing things in a pirate world, and the other one is pursuing things still as a princess of this fucking underwater city. So what do you mean?
But Jinbei has been a pirate.
Really
the thing is, you keep saying Jinbei has went over and switched over to being a pirate. The whole time since he was a kid, his relationship with everybody on Fishman Island, ever since he left the slums, he was a pirate. He started out on a pirate as for Fisher Tiger, and he continued as a pirate on his own. Whether he was a Shushibukai, working for Whitebeard, working for Big Mom, or just on Fishman Island, he has always been a pirate since the day he set sails with Fisher Tiger. So you can never call him not a pirate.
How would that help Shirahoshi in this
It's
case?
been helping her ever since, and she was fine with it.
But
she
they're together now as a duo. How is that helping
together
her now?
As a
duo, they're together now.
His experience on the sea could probably help her, especially that she's a very great. Yes, his experience.
She ain't gotta leave Fishman Island. Wait, hold on. She ain't gotta leave Fishman Island for them to be an effective duo. She can leave the country and send Jinbei to do the next shit.
Sending messages from him all the way over there. That's not a duo.
So niggas gotta be attached.
Jinbei.
Also,
yeah.
You're telling me niggas gotta be attached to the hip for their interest to succeed.
Because if Jinbei is trying to go somewhere far across the seas, you're gonna say, "Oh, but Shirahoshi communicated with him with a message all the way from fucking Neptune and shit," and she's telling him shit what to do. That's a duo now.
So then Mushis don't exist.
Also,
hey, but that's all right. But what if
taking the
Jinbei
word
needs
duo-
her presence? What if she needs her presence?
All right, guys.
And adding your own definition. The definition of duo is a pair of.
All right, guys. You guys did a great job and discussing and avoiding the rules. We're going on to the outro portion. If the captains will meet me for the people, please.
Roll, motherfucker, roll.
All right.
We go first.
Yep.
All right. Like we said, the reason why our duo is better is not only are they smarter, stronger, faster, we've actually seen them work together, and they still haven't come up to an answer of how Shirahoshi leaves anywhere.
Of how Shirahoshi leaves anywhere.
We're interrupting our part. This is our outro. Shut the fuck up.
Sorry.
All right. You want me to continue or are you done? You done? Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So like we've actually seen that Aokiji and Son Goku have some like connection with each other. They're both Marines, and when Sengoku wanted to step down, he chose Aokiji as the person that was closest to his justice in the position for Fleet Admiral. So they obviously have similar goals in what they want to accomplish. So on like a political level, I guess you could say they're extremely close, and you could consider that part of their duoship. Again, when it comes to fighting, they also have their own little duo thing together. They're much stronger and way more versatile than anything Jinbei and Shirahoshi can do. And when it comes to Shirahoshi, like they can like make as many retarded headcanon points as they want, but at the end of the day, Shirahoshi is one of the most useless characters. She's really can't do anything unless in like really like low percentage chances that she like steps up to the plate and does something like out of ordinary. Kisa, you can go.
Right. So y'all need to take real consideration to what duos go through. Duos do, like we said, battles. Duos go through experiences, rather they be political, rather they have to be an event where they need each other to communicate, like you all well put said that it did Mushis. But you guys got to understand that these duels got to also be able to cover each other's backs if needed, to where Shirahoshi is limited to one place, and that is in the water. And when you have a duo, you're saying that if one person's here and I'm over here, it's still an effective duo to a certain extent, but not strong enough extent. Both of these men are part of the Marines. Now, if I have anybody that's part of the Army, shouts out to you guys because you guys do a great job. But come on, these two, Sengoku and Aokiji, they understand what you guys go through as struggles. They understand what it is to live out in that world and travel and debate with people and have people hate you, have some people love you. They understand what it truly means to be together as one. Where you guys can say all you want to about Shirahoshi, but Shirahoshi is a frightened little girl. Who knows what things she'll be frightened of to do next that will require her to stick her neck out. You say, oh, she'll stick her neck out eventually. Yeah, maybe cry about it. You guys think that the Sea Kings are just going to help solve everything that happens for this duo. When anything can happen to this duo, it doesn't even have to involve fighting. But what can Shirahoshi do? Yeah, she's going to blink, probably wave from the water saying, oh, get him, Jinbei-senpai, but I can't help you for shit. That's not how a duo works. A duo works as, I got your back, homie, you got mine. Wherever we need to go, we go together. And if there's anything in our way, we demolish it and get it done. Not one of us, we have the power to do something, but I got to make sure I tap into it because I'm emotional as fuck all the time and I get scared a lot. That's not how a duo should be. Duos have to be synchronized. They have to be feeling-wise. There's no, I'm a little girl, I'm 16, I'm a mermaid, I'm a merman. Come on, you two are even both different species. These two are two men of the Marines now. They are.
Yeah, he brought up an amazing point when he said that the experiences that these two share are completely different. When it comes to Aokiji and Sengoku, they share completely similar experiences. They both had to climb through the Marine ranks. They both had to fight extremely strong pirates and make tough decisions when it comes to higher-ups, giving them commands, all of that stuff. When it comes to Shirahoshi and Jinbei, their experiences are nothing alike. She's a princess. She's been coddled her entire life. She's never had to do anything.
All
Jinbei
right.
has been fighting for her freedom.
Johan, can I take point on this one?
Yeah, let me just start off with a quick point, and then you could go ahead. When we started this conversation, their arguments shifted like crazy. Kisei tried really hard to minimize Shirahoshi at all angles and came up short every time. He tried to minimize the fact that she couldn't use her powers. I said she didn't need to use her powers to be a successful duo. He said that she's a crybaby. She ain't old enough to be doing this, but she's old enough to go to the reverie this year. So I don't even understand that logic. So you know what I'm saying? He's trying to say that their interests don't align, but she's the princess of Jinbei's country. Jinbei was ready to sacrifice his life for her mother, so she's not going to be ready to sacrifice his life for her. Anyway, continue, Will.
Okay, so also I like how Kisei was developing his own definition of duo when a duo is literally a pair of people. So if Kisei is going to do it, I'm going to do it too. My definition of duo is two people who have a close relationship, who have similar goals, and are both have the ability to reach those goals. It's true that maybe Aokiji and Sengoku have a similar goal, but I never heard it from the other team. Not once what their goal was.
Oh, come on, bro.
And not even that. Like this nigga brought up a garbage point. They species. Like what? Your fucking mouth. Like shut. Like are you? Like they tried so hard to minimize the connection that these two have by going that they're not even the same species.
It's so true.
That's low.
Come on, what is Big Mom's Island? Big Mom Island is a strong fucking force, and everybody is a different species on that motherfucker. You guys trying to say Totland is weak now?
Also, I like how the point was,
Go ahead.
I like how the point was, oh, they're on two different sides, they can't work together. But we've seen fishermen work with pirates before, and also Sengoku and Aokiji are on two completely different sides, and there is nothing has been shown as of yet to show that they are working together. So that point.
And again, and not only that, like the restriction that these two have when working together is not the same restrictions that Jinbei and Shirahoshi would have working together. They tried to say that Sengoku can just do whatever the fuck he wants. When we've seen in the series, that's just not true. When he's seen that there was something that he, as a man of justice, deemed more important for the world to release the bounties of level 6 prisoners. If he was really that nigga that really was walking around doing whatever the fuck he wanted, he would have just released them bitches now, wouldn't he? But he did it. He had to bend the knee to some poor old bitches upstairs. That's what he did. He's sitting there like, oh, these niggas won't let me do it, so I guess my hands is tied. And this is the same man. This is the same man that's gonna go against the Gorosei and work with Aokiji, who's not even a part of the same structure, the same system as these niggas. Come on, bro.
Sengoku could do whatever he wanted. Aokiji would be fleet admiral right now.
Thank you. And I really wish we had a sincere argument about the benefits of both duos, but literally their entire argument, besides us trying to force them to say what their side would do, was attacking our side. And they did not bring up one. All we did was reinforce our statements. Every argument that they said reinforced our points, and they could not get past the fact that Aokiji and Sengoku aren't even on the same side and could not argue around it.
Exactly, because even till the end, in their concluding statement, they still try to ignore the fact that Sengoku and Aokiji are not both Marines. In your whole argument, even when we tried our best to correct you and show you how the series really is and what's happening currently in the series, you guys ignored it and still trying to push and say they are both Marines, which they are not.
Guys. That was it for this tremendous second round. Please give us a minute to come up with our decisions.
Hey, Kisei, don't hit me with that bullshit. That's better than that. Don't hit me.
Talking shit, man.
Don't ask me,
Kisei, this is all love, my nigga, but you hitting they in the same species. Come on.
Bro, it was a fucking joke.
I gotta hit you with stuff, bro. I gotta see if I can get you off your game.
Laughing at niggas is joking now.
Yeah.
Because your point was trash as a joke now. Because your point was trash as a joke.
You really thought when he was saying that, he's like, oh, I got one that's going to pin them all down.
Yes. Say, Kisei said that with his chest all puffed out like he was big, man. Come on. Talk about the alien. You heard him when he said he got excited. They ain't even the same species.
Same species. That was hilarious to me.
Hey, nah.
I couldn't even believe that bullshit, man. Like he said, you know. Come on, man. Don't hit me with that, bro. Like I would have respected you more if you hit me with the cannon. Yeah, I get that. Bruh. Like you should have just hit me with that.
Chill, I can chill.
All right, guys. Chetty, you ready?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. All right, cool. Let me go first. Just like last round, this was an even better round. So this is for sure the game of the week. Once again, your arguing abilities are locked. So I had to go with what the results of the argument were, how you each convinced me of each side and how I felt. From speaking about how these two guys have always been around each other, going up to the ranks with each other, and even one recommending the each other for the for his previous position. To speaking about how these two were fucking the same race, how they have the same goals and stuff like that. There were so many points that I all I can do is summarize it. But to me, the one that was the heaviest point that I think would make that duo the best duo was the fact that they have the same goal, and because one has this title and is this thing, that gives him the ability to push towards that goal much better, and that made that tandem that much of a better duo to me because of how he's shown what he can do and how she like has that ability. Even though the other team pointed out that ability like is in doubt so much, the other team made it very very clear that her using that ability isn't what they're talking about. They're referring to her having that ability, having that prestige, and once it's revealed, that's what will be the heavyweight situation. And I thought that was like the strongest point. So I'm giving my vote to Soap's team.
Thank you.
All right.
You want me to go or
What you want to go or you want me to go, bro?
it don't matter.
All right, so all right, bro. Look, I'm gonna keep it real. Even with all the points that y'all brought up and whatnot, though, the one knock I really have against the Ali team, bro, is that they like y'all kept pressing the point where y'all was saying he's a pirate this, he's a pirate that. You know what I'm saying? And they failed to bring up the part where Aokiji literally gave Smoker the heads up and told him that he needs to have the Marines ready because something big is about to happen. You know what I'm saying? And they failed to bring that up. And you know what I'm saying? Like with y'all, you feel me? Y'all kept saying on your side, Soap, y'all kept saying like Shirahoshi this, Shirahoshi that. To me, they put Shirahoshi in the dirt because you know what I'm saying? Like if you're talking about a duo, yeah. Is one thing if we seen her making gains to be more in the political aspect and doing like, you know what I'm saying, stuff like basically growing up. But we haven't seen that yet. You know what I'm saying? So she was basically a wash to me. So I gotta give it a side. I gotta give it to Ali's side.
Wow.
Appreciate it.
Chatty.
Well, yeah, this one was even more even than the last one. Fucking way harder to fucking score. But the point that got through to me the most, and the point that seemed to really win it for me, that was one point Kisei made earlier on when he said something along the lines of, "What has when they've already been together in the past, like Jinbei and Shirahoshi were together in the past, and they did absolutely nothing ever." At any point in time, like as if they could have, they should have. I would assume they didn't even try. And Son Goku and Aokiji have done stuff together and achieved things together as a team. And you guys were so damn close in the argument. I pretty much had to come down. That was the best point made, in my opinion, to any argument of best duo. So I gotta give it to TJ's team.
All five
Appreciate it.
3-all.
All right.
Shit, y'all.
So what happened to that 9-0 sweep, Ali? What happened to that 9-0 sweep,
I got
man?
some cannon fire out here, bro. I like how this shit is going out here, bro. I think this might be the best one so far. For this last question, you're going to be required. Could you please state your characters who you have left?
Big Mom and Caesar.
Sanji and Verona.
Yeah.
Okay. You will both have the ability to choose one character that you've already used to add them to your group.
Okay.
Please choose one.
Jinbei.
Can we get a minute? Get like 1 minute, 30 seconds? What we got?
Yes.
Okay, we got.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
All right, we could take a risk with other characters, but might as well just go with the easy answer.
What do you think, Kisei?
I mean, they already picked their character, so we can just deliberate.
I know, but I'm saying like if this is a power.
Well, we get a third, and they get a third too. So,
yeah, they picked Jinbei.
Oh, they picked Jinbei already. So, yeah, we might as well.
Yeah, just go with Aokiji.
Yeah, we'll go Aokiji.
All right. Please listen very, very, very closely. Versus match. 3v3.
Yeah, versus match 3v. Oh, man.
Listen.
Oh, damn!
You're flip-flopping your teams. Argue while you win.
Oh, shit. My God.
What? What?
Nah, we done.
Nah, it's okay.
The team is trash. What are we gonna do?
That's fucking funny.
They took. Do you mean they get to use our team?
Your trash team? Yes.
It's Thunderdome.
All right, so wait, who do we have? We have Big Mom, Caesar, and Jinbei?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perona, Aokiji, and Sanji?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a 3v3.
It's a pretty good match, man.
3v3?
This is all Toddy wanted.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Grimm
Fuck,
really
man,
had to throw that fucking curve with the switch,
They
bro.
going first?
Fuck.
Yeah, this shit is gay.
They going first?
Live with it.
I think you got to roll, right?
Yep. Going before the people.
All right. 1, 2. All right. So what we go first? Wait, we first?
Yeah, I believe it's you guys.
All right.
All right.
You want me to start off?
Yeah, if you want to.
Wait, we
All
go
right.
first?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
One
right,
more time
so,
for the viewers. Please reiterate the characters that you have.
you want me to say what team we're
We
arguing
got
for?
Big Mom.
We got Big Mom,
Jinbei.
Jinbei, Caesar.
You have Sanji, Aokiji, Ronan.
Yeah.
All right. Again, 4 minutes.
Okay, so when we look at these two teams, it's actually a like pretty close fight on paper, but I think our team has a bunch of like pluses to them. So if you look at the matchups, right? So we basically have each team has one high tier, one mid tier, and one support. And when you look at our high tier, Big Mom, she could be arguably one of the strongest Yonko in the entire series right now. We haven't seen feats from any other character like Big Mom's feats. She has like crazy level things. Like Prometheus, Zeus, and Napoleon are some of the most ridiculous powers we've seen in the entire series. And we know that fire doesn't counter Aokiji's powers, but it almost negates it completely. So Prometheus can almost take on Aokiji and keep him like that, while Big Mom is like taking him on. So I feel like that's like a great matchup for Big Mom. When it comes to Sanji and Jinbei could very well be stronger than Luffy at this point in the series. So I think Jinbei takes that with ease. Like his Fishman Karate and all of the stuff he's shown in the series, and we haven't really seen Sanji use anything. You basically have to go off speculation at this point to even see that Sanji would beat Jinbei at that. And then when it comes to I'll just leave it at that. You guys can go now.
You can go, Kisei.
Okay, I was gonna say, so we gotta make sure that we don't get frozen. Most importantly, so we have already two really great homies. One being the one that can lend us his warmth, being Prometheus, of course. So anytime that Aokiji wants to try to go freeze our entire group, we have Prometheus there to make sure that that does not happen. And another case in point is that since we have the Gas Man himself, in which none of their team has a counter to that, Gas still is an explosion where he can send his gas beams that have enough temperatures to melt steel. So even if Aokiji wants to say, I'm going to hide us in ice clones, or I'm going to just clone myself, Gasteel's poison or gas properties are really high temperature. So I really believe that Caesar's ability to melt anything that Aokiji is doing is going to be effective. But getting back to, let's say they have Sanji and Perona now. We also have... who we have? Yeah, Big Mom, Caesar, and we got Jinbei, right?
No. We have Jinbei, Big Mom, and Caesar. They have Perona, Aokiji, and Sanji.
Okay.
Well, real quick, I just want to
Go
note
ahead.
that also Caesar and Jinbei, or Big Mom, have a little bit of synergy with each other as well, because the fire can ignite some of the gases that Caesar can produce with his double fruit. Continue.
Yes, that is also fatal. Also, the fact that
Wait,
if
what fire
Caesar,
does Jinbei have?
hold on, this is our part. Hold on. Now, since Caesar also has the ability that he can take away oxygen in a certain range. Now, if let's say we walk up to these guys, let's say we actually advance on them, because the only one that's actually fast on their team is Sanji. So he's the only one that can actually pretty much get away easily. But we also have Gastille, where Gastino, however you want to call him, he can eliminate the oxygen in the air to where not even Sanji, I believe his flame kicks can work, because they said that is how Caesar nullifies fire, so it cannot damage him. So we now can take away their use of using oxygen as well. We have Zeus, who can go all the way up to the sky and can send down thunderbolts on top of their team. So if Zeus can go all the way into the sky, there's nobody on their team that could possibly reach them. You have everything, Ali?
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're just like looking at the 3v3 in perspective, you can basically take out Perona because she is not gonna be of any help at all. And then once you take in Big Mom to account, she has Prometheus and Zeus, so it's technically at now 5v2. And since Prometheus basically he doesn't nullify Aokiji, but he can do it, like he can basically put it up to where Ace did and where the ice and fire went like evenly matched. So that's already out of the table. And the only thing
Okay. All right, guys.
Yep. Okay. Let me start off by addressing some of your points from earlier. You were saying at this point in the series we have seen a lot from Jinbei and nothing from Sanji, which I would have to argue is complete bullshit. Because when we've seen Jinbei and Sanji fight side by side, Sanji was the dominator in the fight, and he dealt all the finishing and strong blows, whereas Jinbei was hiking up Watatsumi over to Sanji. And when Jinbei and Luffy fought, Jinbei punched Sanji and Luffy punched Sanji. Sanji took both of their hits while they punched each other after hitting Sanji's face. They were both knocked out for relatively the same amount of time as where Sanji was knocked out. So he is more durable than Jinbei, and he has stronger attacks from what I've seen back on Fishman Island, and Jinbei hasn't done anything stronger since then. Granted, neither has Sanji, except when he beat Luffy's ass, which Jinbei could not do. And to address another one of your points, saying Perona is useless. Mind you, Perona has an offensive capability that cannot be stopped by any one of your forces. Big Mom would either turn back into her rage mode or not even want to fight as she gets hit by any one of these ghosts. And none of you guys are Kuma, so you guys cannot repel these back to her. So
just real quick.
Yeah.
Not only that, I want to talk about the synergy with your team versus ours. There is a couple glaring weaknesses with your squad. Caesar is absolutely and utterly terrified of Big Mom. Like fucking shitting bricks with the thought of Big Mom. You feel me? And by the nature of Big Mom, the more afraid you are of Big Mom, the worse it is for you. So that is a detriment to your synergy as a team. In regards to our team, we have the ability to strike fear into your opponents directly with Perona. Aokiji, being the powerhouse, can handle your little scrubs like Jinbei and who Caesar? Whatever. I don't even remember that nigga name. You know what I'm saying? And with Big Mom, we got Sanji. We just make a cake that'll knock the bitch the fuck out. Call it a day.
And yes, we do have Sanji. We can make a cake if worse comes to worse. You guys did also mention that Caesar can take away the air out of the vicinity and stop Sanji from making a fire. Well, Sanji has shown since the beginning of the series that he can go a long time without breathing because he's fought a fisherman underwater, and he has lit Diablo Janbe under 15,000 meters of water pressure. How much air is under 15,000 meters of water pressure? None, right? So yeah, Sanji doesn't need air for Diablo Janbe. and he doesn't need to breathe to beat Caesar. And if Caesar could take away the air from his flames and disignite his flames, why the fuck didn't he do it back when Sanji kicked him the fuck in the face
And
and
it's
knocked his
not
ass,
only that.
knocked
Like
the tooth out?
Caesar's oxygen, him being able to remove oxygen has a range, as we've clearly seen when he was fighting Luffy. So Sanji just need to step outside that motherfucking range and Peroni just throw a couple ghosts at him. But either way, that's besides the point. Jinbei, with when it comes to our team, I just forgot my point.
Okay,
Fuck.
well, I got a point. Let's not forget that Sanji can go Hell's Memories at any moment and provide enough flames for Prometheus to get attracted and get hungry because he's just like Big Mom's soul, so he's a hungry fat motherfucker too. And fire would be delicious to him. So yeah, Sanji powering up Prometheus to gain your member to our side. Yeah, that would be pretty nice for us. Thank you.
And we also do have a character that has the ability to attract Big Mom in one to manipulate Big Mom in one very, very, very strong way, and that's with her fucking stomach. You feel me? Big Mom is not gonna be one in a fight when Sanji's shoving up some motherfucking food while Jinbei and Caesar are on the ground because of Perona's fucking ghost. You feel me? Big Mom's not gonna be ready to scrap when Sanji's got a fucking truffle cake in front of her motherfucking face. You feel me? So the fact that Big Mom, yeah, she is your main strength. She is your attack force, but she's also she also has the ability to be manipulated by people that are clearly that you can argue aren't as smart as she is. You know what I'm saying?
And
Also,
one of your sorry,
hold
Will,
on.
let me just go.
No,
One of
okay.
the main arguments you guys had was that that Perona would be useless in the fight when we have Jinbei and Sanji, and we have Aokiji to counter anything Jinbei can do with his water and Sanji to match his strength. So Jinbei is pretty much useless in this fight. He can't use his Fishman Karate because that's just gonna fuck him up. Because Aokiji will freeze all of that shit, all of it. You can go, Will.
Also, we've seen Big Mom's most impressive feats, where like while she
All
was
right,
in
guys.
rage mode.
My bad, Will.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
Well, we went second, so we get to respond first. So just finish your point after Grimm says so.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so we've seen Big Mom's most impressive feats were while she was in rage mode, and while she's in rage mode, Caesar is definitely taking hits.
Yup.
All right, Kisa, you want to go or?
I just want to say this is that thank you for bringing up the point about Big Mom as far as the scary thing, because Big Mom will do this. Hey, Perona, life retreat. Oh, I lost my soul now because I'm scared of the big bitch, because Perona is scared easily. I'm sorry. She's somebody that can be shocked. She was shocked at a lot of things.
She was scared of Usopp. Usopp.
Life retreat.
He's getting one shot.
Your soul's mine.
How's she gonna ask a question called life retreat when all she could smell is some chocolate chip cookies? You know what I'm saying? And she going
Dog, hold up. It took Sanji.
Not to mention,
you guys. Moshi already said something.
Oh,
it took Sanji 10 hours with like 40 chefs and 3 other people to make this fucking cake.
To replicate the specific cake of the one that she wants. She wants this cake specifically. That's not true in all cases.
Okay, so while Sanji while Perona is getting her lifespan ripped out, Sanji's going to be baking a cookie in the kitchen or what?
He doesn't need a kitchen. He has Diablo Jambe.
We see Sanji cook soup with some fucking bricks and some
dough out of his ass, and then he's gonna Diablo Jambe the dough.
Hey, Sanji.
No, hold on. We seen Sanji cook soup with some fucking bricks and some seawater, motherfucker. Drag like Sanji.
Sanji about your equipment. I was talking about where you're gonna actually get the food.
Motherfucker,
wherever the fuck we are. Where is this battle? Where's this battle? Big Mom is here.
Big Mom
it could be on the whole cake. We didn't even fucking talk about that.
Big Mom only likes croquet bouche and she wants the wedding cake. So you said chocolate truffles. You can't get the croquet bouche anywhere unless Sanji runs to it, but he's leaving his team. That would make it easier for us. So he can't get the croquet boosh, and he has to make the wedding cake, which takes time to prep. Those are the only 2 items that are definitely canon that she would actually want to eat right now.
You're wrong. That is completely wrong because she went down. Wait, so she's attacking Fishman Island for their sweets. They're known to have the best sweets. We saw Luffy eating those sweets. It wasn't no fucking croquet bush, nigga.
Yeah, but she didn't go on a. She didn't.
Who asked for croquet bush when they were making
a
rampage in Whole Cake Island? What did she ask for specifically?
Nobody said anything about a rampage.
You also gotta understand.
You guys said Caesar's gonna get hurt if she goes on a rampage.
Of course she is.
If she goes on a rampage, she doesn't go on a rampage when she eats cake. If you read the fucking series, the cake is how to stop her fucking rampage.
You're the one that's trying to use the rampage against us. What?
No, we're not. We literally said your strongest point is a rampage. The rampage is the last thing we would want, but you guys can't get no rampage right now.
What?
That's her strongest point. We haven't seen her do anything outside of her rampage. So you can only bring her feats inside her rampage mode and say what she did as a rampage. But if you can't get her to that state, it doesn't matter. And we know Cake will always distract her no matter what state she's in.
Wait, so she can't just get mad?
She can get mad, but it's not a rampage.
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
Let me just. Is that the end of your statement? Okay. All right. So, all right. So, not even that. You said Big Mom's gonna hit Perona with the life of treat question. Act like Caesar's not gonna hear that bitch and be like, oh.
Well, Caesar is on her team.
She's asking it. Yeah, he's on her team.
Caesar's sick of that bitch. Caesar would not fight with Big Mom under no circumstance.
If
he had to, and in this circumstance, he is.
Okay, well, you guys said Perona is a cowardly person. Based off what? When Kuma showed up, she said, I have nothing to fear from any top tier because my power is better. And she stood right up to him, and she was only beat by the fact that he had a power that could repel anything.
Hold on. It also stated here that Perona passed out in fear after being scared by Usopp's tricks when he seemingly
by
that
Usopp.
10-ton hammer.
That's Usopp, not Big Mom.
Nigga.
Usopp, not Big Mom.
Are you trying to
Usopp and Big Mom are completely different.
Right now.
That's not scary. Hold on, no. What's gonna scare you more? 10-ton hammer or the fucking Elbuff spear? That's
hold on.
The reason, let me take this.
He brought up my nigga Usopp. Lucid. Hold on,
my nigga too. All right, bro, let's
got you, fam. I promise you. Usopp a god, my nigga. Like, of course she gonna be terrified of motherfucking god than some fat bitch that's fucking hungry. He's seeing some little lip. Hold on, no, motherfucker, you tighten up. You talking about some little lip nigga pre-time skit that had no type of muscle, no how. You know what I'm saying? That had to put on a mask to beat a teddy bear. You feel me? So wait, hold on, I'm not done, Kisei. Hold on, Kisei. So when Perona sees some little scrawny motherfucker mask to beat a motherfucking teddy bear, all of a sudden pulling out a 10-ton hammer, swinging that bitch with one hand, calling himself a motherfucking captain and shit. Of course she gonna be scared. She not gonna be scared of some fat bitch that's hungry fucking some wedding cake. She not gonna be scared of that bitch.
Let me use my man Jinbei, because I know we didn't really capitalize, but the thing about Jinbei is that this nigga, whatever Sanji's gonna do, because it looks like your argument is that he's gonna run away and bake stuff to stop our Big Mom. So how about we go ahead and have Jinbei just hit a few thousand tiles on these niggas and fucking just
but Aokiji freezes it. But why don't we bring our Admiral Aokiji to freeze all those tiles and send them back as ice projectiles at Jinbei's bitch ass?
Oh,
Prometheus is melting all of his ice at the same time.
Mom.
Prometheus can't melt it because Prometheus is on our side. We use Hell Memories.
No.
This nigga was hungry.
Hell Memories, no, listen. Because Nami could
nigga was hungry.
No, Nami could use Zeus because she has the power to control weather. Weather in part of being you don't have Nami on your team. You have Sanji.
Okay, but Sanji does have the ability
to... Let me make one point. You are helping us because you're making Prometheus hotter. Now he's going to burn y'all even more because you're feeding him, you
No,
dumbasses. You are feeding him more.
How are you
no,
feeding
you
him while
dumbass,
fighting?
you dumbass.
feeding him.
When you feed Big Mom's soul, it
Right.
turns
Hold on, let
against
me
her.
respond to this.
Because
Let me
these,
respond.
Go ahead,
Let me
go ahead.
respond.
no, you can't respond, Fruit, because it's our turn. So
No, I'm saying after
when you
go.
feed, okay, yeah, when Nami fed Zeus, she created thunderclouds and said thunder likes thunder. Fire definitely likes fire. Prometheus was looking hungry last time we saw the motherfucker.
Headcanon.
Okay, wait. Are you
Sanji
done?
produces. No, I'm not done. Sanji produces fire at a range. He can
Respond.
throw the fireballs.
Okay.
He can produce it on
Two
himself.
Speed it up.
huge
Speed
points
it
that
up.
you completely are missing. One, this happened in Big Mom's rage state. We can heavily assume that this is a extremely crucial part of why Nami was able to do that, because Big Mom didn't have better control of her homies at the point. And secondly, Prometheus and Zeus are not the same character. They have two different personalities. We don't even know if this would work on Prometheus.
Actually, they're made from the same soul, and the soul comes from the same personality. That's what a soul is in One Piece. That's why Zeus acts exactly how Big Mom would act. And no, I don't remember your next point. So someone else talk. You guys can talk.
Nami negotiated with Zeus to say, "I will give you more if you help us."
Sanji can do that too.
Yeah, but
Sanji was there and he watched what happened.
And with Nami's power, she then called out through the thundercloud using Zeus as the conductor. But you can't do that with Sanji because Sanji does not control weather. So you're just making him hotter for no reason.
I do want to say this point though, like because I think we haven't really been talking about what Sanji can add for us too. But with the fact that Perona's ability is one that's hard to combat against with the Devil Fruit or physically, the obvious line of attack from your side would be, oh well, these niggas are going to attack Perona, but you gotta. Sanji is a bitch when it come to females. You feel me? So when he see a bad bitch like Perona and niggas is ready to swing on that bitch, you think Sanji's just gonna let that happen? You act like Sanji.
What's he stopping? What's he stopping?
Hold up. A Gear 4 punch stopping
Caesar.
Basic
He literally kicks Caesar like a bitch every time he's been with Caesar. Literally every time.
We've also seen Sanji at his strongest when he was protecting a female.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, but that's not the point. A Gear 4th, Sanji has never shown anything compared to a Gear 4th punch so far in the series. And Luffy did a Gear 4 punch against Big Mom's armament hockey. It did absolutely nothing. To say that Sanji could stop Perona from getting her life taken away is ridiculous.
He doesn't need. I'm not talking about in relationship to Big Mom and Sanji.
Up to her.
And Sanji can't hit a woman anyways.
Hold on, Froob. I'm talking about
hit Big Mom.
Hold on, Lucid. I'm talking about Sanji facing Jinbei and Sanji chasing Caesar. Sanji and Caesar and Jinbei are not getting through Sanji to fuck up Perona.
All I'm saying is, oh wait, no, it's not my turn. You guys go.
Wait. I will say this.
Okay, so hold on. Earlier you argued that Sanji was stronger than Jinbei. Is that right?
Yep.
What makes you think that? Because not only is Sanji's bounty low, he's also never been a Shichibukai, and neither has Sanji ever beaten up anyone close to as Jinbei's tier.
Oh, sweet.
Let me get this. Sanji was not a Shishibukai because he was under Luffy from the beginning of the series, from the introduction, since the moment he became a pirate. And you know you can't become a Shishibukai through that route if you've read the series. Jinbei had a higher bounty because Jinbei has been pirating for over 22 years, since way back during Robin's backstory time. So, yeah, he's accumulated a higher bounty. Why is it that Sanji has caught up to his bounty so fast that has just recently been frozen and unfrozen and didn't get any particular sort of raise? And why do we think Sanji is stronger? As I said before, they fought side by side and Sanji dealt all the strong attacks, whereas Jinbei assisted Sanji.
You completely missed his point. He wasn't trying to say that Jinbei is stronger than Sanji because he was a Shichibukai. He was listing some of the feats that Jinbei has over Sanji. And secondly,
I just listed all the feats.
To respond to what you were saying about Jinbei and Sanji fighting together, That is literally the biggest joke ever. Like you can't even use that as a feat. Like, yeah, Jinbei threw him up to Sanji. Like, okay, good. They have synergy together. You really think that Jinbei couldn't beat that fodder ass character at that point in the story? Like, come on, bro. What are you saying?
But why wasn't he taking point?
But not even that. Like, I want to argue like the synergy with your team compared to ours. Like, at least there's a rationale between why the members on our team would possibly work and fight together versus the three of your niggas. Because I don't see how Big Mom, Caesar, or Jinbei interest align in any sort of way that could cause them to fight on the same side. Because at least, hold on. At least with Sanji and Perona and Sanji have the Zoro link, and we know Aokiji at least somewhat respects the Straw Hats.
I would like to say wrong because let me say wrong because who negative hollowed Sanji and Thriller Bark? It was Perona, so you think they really gonna be buddy after you just made me negative back in Thriller Bark?
That's not even a point because she's a woman.
Oh, Perona was also loving on Zoro. Perona's sitting here loving on Zoro.
When has Sanji ever got mad at a woman?
If you would have said Zoro, this would be easier. But it's Sanji. They have nothing to relate with each other. You say Zoro connect? Sanji and Zoro hate each other.
It's not about Sanji and Zoro. She helped Zoro because she was helping this entire Straw Hats. She brought the Zoro back to the Straw Hats, and every single person that brought their person back to the Straw Hats actually had an interaction, waved thus far, or held the Straw Hats up in some way, shape, or form.
This is completely pointless. Like the entire point of this discussion is a 3v3 matchup discussion. Right. You can't just say that our characters wouldn't fight with each other. That is the scenario. They're fighting with each other.
No, the 3v3. What applies in a 3v3 is how well your characters would work together. Hold on, Keith. I'm not done. Keith, I'm not done. In a 3v3, what's an important factor when three people are fighting together is how well they can work together. And if you look at the details within the story, when it compares to your three characters and our three characters, there's some sort of alignment between our three characters. When with your three characters, there is none.
You are now in a free response portion.
Let me show this one panel real quick. If I can show panels.
No, we're not dropping panels in this. No, we're not doing panels.
Hold on.
Drop your panel, but we're not gonna stop talking because you want to drop a panel.
Do that.
Go drop a panel.
But Caesar pretty much single-handedly dropped Tashigi, Frankie, Smoker, and Luffy's down there too. This nigga did it alone. This is Caesar.
Good thing those were not. None of those characters were characters in our arsenal. He didn't drop RPG. He didn't drop Perona. He didn't drop Sanji.
It's Smoker, Alogia. It's Luffy, the guy that you're saying that, Sanji's going to do shit just like Luffy did to him.
Is Luffy
on the ground over there, bro.
Is Luffy Sanji? Luffy and Sanji are two different characters.
He's weaker than Sanji, and this is a 3v3 battle.
They have two different They have completely different capabilities. Sanji is a lot faster than Luffy is in whatever way, shape, or form you want to. Wait, what?
If the air is getting sucked out of you, how are you faster than that?
Stop. You said Sanji is not faster than air. Sanji kicks the air so fast that he walks on top of it. I would say he is.
That's okay. That's okay because stop the poison gas. What are you guys gonna do?
Plus, we've seen
to stop the poison gas. Do you remember a long time ago, back in Sanji's introduction arc, where there was fire coming towards Zeph, and with a kick, he let out a gust of wind that ignited. Well, not ignited the flame. That
doused the flame. I know what you're saying.
Yeah. That's what
one little.
That's
one little speck of fire.
Yes, because I don't remember a huge one. I don't remember that.
Plus, we've seen.
Okay, and
but
you're saying
let me counter the negative hollow thing real quick, because y'all saying that'll help affect Big Mom. What if Big Mom puts her soul into it? Now it's on our team. Now we have a little negative hollow of our own. No. Souls can go into inanimate objects too.
Like fire.
Inanimate objects? Like
what? It's literally a ghost.
So
it's
how is she
we're not talking
touch
about
a ghost? You realize if she comes into contact with this,
she's putting her soul into
her soul into another person's devil fruit.
Yeah.
She can send the Big Mom to her soul.
No,
Hold
no,
on,
no, no,
Lucy.
no, 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 no. You guys, it's fine, it's fine. That just goes a counterpoint argument to them because now they have a ghost that has a soul in it that's on the battlefield that if they touch, they immediately lose their will to fight and they become completely negative. So now it's not only going straight, it is there on the battlefield
She
and you have
controls
to
the
watch out
ghost.
for it.
She
It
should
is on your
control the
side.
ghost now.
No, she does not.
The
No,
ghost
she
is
does not.
control. It
She
has
can't.
her
She can't
soul
take control.
in the
She cannot
ghost.
take control of someone else's powers.
Hold on, because like I don't even. Besides the point Lucid just made, like when has Big Mom ever used her to influence someone else's devil fruit? Like she could just put her soul into other niggas' devil fruits now? Is that what you're telling me? That
Hey,
if
I'm saying that is an inanimate object that is
you're
a
saying
ghost that is
bullshit. That's what
floating.
you're saying bullshit because that's not
I'm
true.
saying bullshit, really?
Bullshit. Yeah, we've never seen her do some shit like that.
So right. So basically, if you're gonna say that Big Mom can't do that, we can still say that Verona can get her soul sucked out of, right? Now her soul belongs to Big Mom.
But again, I can also say
how does she do that?
how's she gonna ask some questions when she smells some good food? How's she gonna do that?
It's not even about that. The fact that when Big Mom has done that to anybody, she was directly right in their face. Perona can send these ghosts from a range, from anywhere, and you can't do anything to stop them because they go through anything, and they will continue through towards their target.
Will have to keep
and
going
you cannot,
further and
you
further
cannot,
back because the gas that Gastino's about to ish out is about to fucking make all you niggas pass out. So you better get
the
back
gas,
pretty far,
the gas.
Verona.
Okay, you cut me off. Right. The gas does not stop a ghost. Right. So that ghost can go right through Caesar and stop him in his tracks and make him completely negative too. And mind you, she can make multiple ghosts at once. Nothing can stop these ghosts from coming at you. You turn it into a homie, she still has control of what is her power.
It's still
Nothing
her
can
power.
take away the control of her power.
Okay, so the same thing goes for our range attack, right? Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, man. Good shit. We doing the outro now?
Roll that motherfucking dice.
They can go first.
Yeah.
Oh, we go.
No, I said
bro,
they can go first.
No, bro. You're not gonna take my chance away. Fucking posting this Fujitora panel, so we'll drop this panel. And then y'all niggas roll that.
There you go. Go. All right, go.
So who going? Is it us?
Yeah.
Well, I just rolled a 3.
No, you have to roll. You have to roll.
Oh, my fault. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Wait, how does it work? Whoever gets the higher number goes first, or what?
Lower.
Okay, they go first then.
Yeah, they go first.
All right, so I'm gonna start off, and then you guys can hop in. Look, this is not the debate that I fucking expected. But I'll say this. When in terms of the 3v3, it's obvious which team would most likely seemingly come out on top. Well, when you factors of personality between those three, if you look at the history within those three, if you look at the interactions within those three, the cohesiveness of that team is just not effective compared to between our three characters. Big Mom has a very hard time staying focused when it comes to things she loves, like, I don't know, food. You feel me? So and then with that and the bullshit that she has going on, Caesar backstabbing her, fucking playing her for money, and that she has to force this nigga just to build some bullshit gas for her. Like and Jinbei, who directly already wanted to leave her crew and is fucking attacking her right now. Like the problems that they have together is a detriment to their team and to their fighting force as a whole. So, well, Lucid.
And not to mention that we have several counters to your fighting styles. Just like I mentioned before, Sanji countering Prometheus, Aokiji completely countering anything Jinbei can do. Sanji physical strength matching Jinbei, especially the counter Jinbei and burning his ass, turned him into a fish fillet for Big Mom's fat ass to eat. And not to mention Caesar who is a fraidy cat at all times and a little bitch, Imagine what happens when his bitch ass gets hit by the negative thing. Because he's not no Usopp that can just take. He's gonna be even more of a bitch, even more scared to fight our characters, especially when Jinbei is gone and he's only beside the one fat big bitch that's on his side that he's scared of the most against all our fucking demons coming for him. He's not ready to get frozen by Aokiji. He's not ready to get burnt up by Sanji. He's already been hit and kicked by Sanji. He has no way to fight Sanji. Sanji's faster than him and stronger than him in every which way. He is scared of hockey users. We know this nigga has no hockey. He has plenty of times where he could have showcased hockey. He hasn't. Sanji does, on the other hand. Aokiji does. Perona, not so much. But she has the ghost that can get to him from any range. And to Big Mom, Big Mom, the last person on your team who can be dealt with by the three of these people at the end when we freeze this bitch. It's an admiral. It's shit. What is Big Mom gonna do against the ghost?
Plus, I
She
wanted to
can't
bring
do
up that
anything
point
either.
because we know who the two powerhouses are in these battles. It's Aokiji and it's Big Mom. Some might argue that Big Mom's more impressive than Aokiji, but like, here's the thing: Aokiji is just as impressive as Big Mom with icebergs and Punk Hazard. Plus, he's more in control of himself, making him more useful in a team battling setting. He's been shown to use power while at the same time holding back to not hit his comrades, while Big Mom has shown multiple times she can't hold herself back from attacking her comrades. Also, one last point: Sanji swam through poisonous waters while in Nami's body. That's it.
Oh, great point.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot.
All right. Ali.
Boo.
Take it
So
away,
you wanna
guys.
start?
You want to start or
One of
me?
you guys take it away. I gotta look at some stuff real quick.
Fu,
Alright.
you want to
He
start?
got a cheat.
You want to start? I can start. I don't care.
You got it.
All right. So their entire portion of the debate portion was literally them on the defensive. They said almost absolutely nothing about Aokiji and how he's going to fit into this. They didn't try to refute any of our points about how Prometheus was going to shut him down. So with that being said, I feel like they completely, terribly argued their side. Now, when it comes to our characters, again, if Aokiji is being held down by Prometheus, which isn't a counter. Again, it's not a counter, but it is like a. It'll keep him down while Big Mom can take Perona's soul, which already makes that a 3v2. And she, as we said, she can put the soul into her ghost if that even needs to come to be. And when it comes to that, if Big Mom is holding Aokiji down with her fire, she can use Napoleon in her other hand and just slice at him. We've seen incredible DC feats with her, with Prometheus and with her Thousand Nations Might. You want to go? Ali?
Yeah. Literally, if you just look at it in the most simplest way, it's 3v3. Every single one of our matchups is stronger than theirs. Yes, teamwork does come into effect, but not when the wall is that insurmountable. They have literally no chance. Perona, they said if they can get their hollows out, she will be knocked out before like the fight even starts. It's not even to be close. And then Sanji, they used the majority of their beginning argument of talking about how Sanji was going to bake something, and they went completely away from that after we shut them all down on that. And then they didn't even use Aokiji until the last couple of seconds. You can go, Kisei.
I was just gonna say that we have more than just three because we have more. We got three homies. I didn't even use Napoleon yet. Go ahead and run. Go ahead because Napoleon with his capabilities, it's like a 6v3. Now we have not only him to worry about. So Sanji, you can go ahead and run, but Napoleon's chasing after your ass. So let me see you beat a flying sword. Let me see you beat that because I don't see it happening. And
also, really quick, I have to put this in there. When it comes to Zeus, they have no Nami on their team. They have nothing. They don't have Brook on their team. They have nothing to counteract Zeus. Maybe you can make the argument, even though it's a bad argument, that Sanji and Aokiji can hold up Prometheus. But when it comes to Zeus, they have absolutely nothing that can go against it.
He said that, I see what you're saying, Z, is feetless. Those homies can attack even without Big Mom being awake. They attack on sight. Those little Napoleons, they are lethal. And the fact that you say that, but okay, Perona, you know what, Perona, because we had her on our team, I understand why you guys are trying to use her effectively. But the fact is that she is still like very childish before the time skip. So I know that if this big bitch just as so much looks at her, saying life or treat, she's going to freaking turn tail. And if you turn tail, look what happened to one of her kids. Your soul got yanked. So you can run, she can still grab the soul because she wasn't even technically touching her son when she took his soul. She was behind him and stringy soul energy came out of him. So it wasn't the fact that he has to be right up on you.
Okay, guys.
Yeah, go ahead. My bad.
All right. What did y'all think out here, bro? This is a well-deserved game of the week. What is it? A minute to deliberate? Yeah.
Yeah, I just gotta give you guys an applause. You did the best you could.
Yeah, no, because I ain't see that question coming. I'm tired as hell.
I was gonna say, bro, like the amount of ass pulls, like
None of those were ass pulls.
Bro, I did have my whole argument ready to body y'all niggas.
You know what's fucking hilarious, bro? I was really considering using Kid for this because I didn't.
Yeah,
I thought if it was a power level, I thought it was if it was a power level thing, we would lose no matter what. So I was thinking about using Kid, but
I was using Kid because I thought if we chose like Aokiji, I thought Aokiji they were gonna use like some bullshit like.
Yo, we were saving Big Mom too. We were saving Big Mom.
Yeah, no, we were dead saving Big Mom because we knew the third question. I thought it was gonna be you gotta break somebody out.
Yeah.
Oh, like the last
like
week.
it fell down.
Nah, y'all did good though. Like
I didn't expect
that was as most you could do with like that big of a gap.
I don't know. I personally think you guys got fully countered by that team. Like Perona is bodying Caesar, Jinbei is getting bodied by.
I think we made the best argument.
What about the homies?
I already said what I said about the homies. Prometheus is gone because Sanji absorbs him, and you guys kept trying to use Prometheus.
To begin our deliberation. Teddy, you go first this time.
Well, this is the best debate bar none.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys
Facts,
did great.
my guy.
Shit, this one's really hard. You know, you guys both did really good. You guys both brought up the right points. You guys both brought up the right points. The nerfs of the both sides, even though you guys had to do the switch, which I commend you for. Good. I thought you guys were gonna fumble more, but you didn't. Making it hard to judge. But honestly, the best points I could think of were coming from Hans' side. So
yes.
Even he's.
But it's basically dead even. Like that's the problem here. Very good. Like too good. Yeah. Like if you guys would have gone against anybody else, besides what I've seen so far, you would have washed it.
Wallow?
Yeah, man. I feel like y'all boys was going in on each other, bro, and at the same time y'all was effectively throwing up the countermeasures on both sides. Like I damn near want to give it a draw, damn near, bro. But
that's what I want to do. But you said I couldn't do that.
Yeah, you.
No, don't hit us with that. Don't do it to me again.
Hey, someone has to win. You feel me? And the point, like, y'all was bringing up the Prometheus thing, and I don't feel like y'all sold it good enough that Sanji can control him because his personality is definitely different. Like they mentioned his personality is not the same as Zeus. He seems older or more mature than that nigga. Nigga's a little fat idiot, basically. But you feel me? Like y'all, damn, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Y'all boy were going in, bro. At one point, y'all had me rolling so hard, I almost wrecked out. But
Even that ab workout.
You feel me? Goddamn, bro. But shit, man, I'm gonna have to go with I'm gonna have to go with Kisei on that one, bro. Kisei did his thing in that one. He told y'all he did his
Keisei
thing
was
on
tearing
that
you
one,
guys
bro.
up.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna have to go with Kisei on that one because he was throwing defense at the defense on y'all. Y'all kept coming with the shit, but he kept coming with the counter.
Okay.
Well, the deciding point, Grimm. Go ahead.
You don't like going last now, huh?
Fuck you. Like Dave mentioned already twice, the best debate so far. Cannon fire on both sides and shit. With the arguments that have been presented on both sides, because both teams were equally arguing just as hard, I can't just say that one team argued better. It came down to what they were actually arguing. Once again, the entire fucking match. With the points that one team was bringing up, I felt like the other team they attempted to answer them in the best way that they could, but it wasn't like they were like sufficient answers. And then the attacks the other team put didn't necessarily like continue to reiterate it, but like some of the points continue to stand. I enjoyed the fact that like Soap's team mentioned like Perona's obvious incredible hacks and how that can really be dealt with. I enjoyed how like basically fucking these guys fucking mentioned how fucking Big Mom has fucking makes it a 5v2. They're outnumbered. These are two forces and shit. Even Farouk tried to push the narrative several times that like Prometheus can keep Aokiji busy to an extent. And then then fucking both Soap and fucking Lucid mentioned how like Fishman Karate it might be nerfed and dealt with the ice that's around. But at the end of the day, using what you guys both mentioned, I did feel that the entire argument was based on Perona dealing with a lot of issues, and I felt that what the other team was doing was going to deal with more than what just Perona was doing, and that's why I gave it to Kisei's side.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't not no sweep, so shut the fuck up.
You loyal.
Hey, we won. Stop.
Moshe, you played yourself.
Stop 2 L's. Don't talk 2 L's. Don't talk.
2 L's.
Don't talk 2 L's.
Hey, it's convenient that you got Sanjay in your team for
What happened to your sweep? What happened to your sweep? You still going about you want sweep niggas all week? You beat me by 1 point.
Let him out. Trevor.
This is another.
I forgot that a loss is a loss.
This is another occasion where we go to a 5v4 victory. Both teams stacked their points left, so we're gonna see how this affects the actual standings. Please stay tuned for the next match. We have another match that's supposed to be with some fucking heavy hitters again, with the World of Hurt team versus the Master J Fan Club. They're coming up in about 15 minutes. Please stay tuned. Coming for the next video. These two teams have, I will say it, this has been the best debate we've had so far.
Yeah, I know.
I will be commended.
Excellent, dude. Blueprint of how it should go.
Several all-stars. I have to announce this prematurely for all the viewers and all the contestants. There's an official all-star team being made. The top 10 contestants up until week 4 will be voted for, and then they'll have a chance to go on a stream and debate for their teams and earn extra points. And I can definitely say that a lot of the contestants here today right now will probably be on that top 10 list. So continue to work hard, continue to fucking debate hard and shit like that. You guys did well today. One team had to get the victory, even though it was a great match. I wish we could do it all night long, but we got to keep pushing.
GG, boys.
Yeah, no,
we'll see y'all boys
good.
later on.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for a little bit later, and you already know, man.
Yo!
250, 350, 450. All y'all niggas owe me money.